Yeah. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, welcome in to a quite dreary Tuesday morning. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Great to be with you one more time again. I am Rob Brown, directly across from me on the other side of the glass, metaphorically speaking. You good over there, pal? Need a Red Bull?
I'm pacing myself.
I see that. Slow pace out front. Zoe with the big yawn.
Remember, I'm here 11 today.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm pacing myself.
That's right. Zoe's got a day ahead of him. Got a long day ahead of him. Well, we won't put him on the hook for too much today. You know, no, I don't need you getting to the afternoon and going, I'm going to kill Rob tomorrow.
I don't think I've ever thought that, but I'm fine.
I'm easy to work with, you know.
As soon as you said that, the TV just went out. This is weird. I'll never mind it. Went to sleep.
Big day on the radio broadcast today. A lot of stuff to get into. Obviously, we continue our discussion about the college football playoffs as our next set of rankings will come out this evening. Will not be a surprise, I think, to see the Georgia Bulldogs once again on the top of that list. Will not be a surprise, I don't think, to see the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 2 on that list, to see the Michigan Wolverines at number 3 on that list. The only question might be team number 4, and I'm relatively confident that's going to be TCU. The question is going to be, what do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 look like? And which of those teams actually have an opportunity still to punch a ticket into the college football playoffs? We're going to get to that in a moment, including Zoe and I hit on this yesterday. Actually, Lonzo hit on this yesterday. And I was thinking about it when we got off the air. There are obviously a lot of games remaining for playoff potential teams. I don't know if this is lack of parity. I don't know if it's anything else. Lonzo, if I had to set the over-under on the number of games that have a change in the playoff top 4, and I set it at 1.5, are you taking the over or the under?
The under.
Yeah, I think so. I'm taking the under.
I was trying to figure out if you're tricking me or not. No, he's not tricking me.
Not at all.
We're good.
I'm taking the under. I think that there's effectively one game left that matters in this college football season as far as who's going to be in. It's Ohio State, Michigan. That game is going to remove one of the Big Ten. Well, I should say two, I should say regular season games. Because the Big Ten championship, which is Michigan, Ohio State, right? One of those teams will have another one, but it's Michigan, Ohio State. The SEC championship, Georgia, LSU. Those are the only 2 games that matter. TCU is not losing another game. I don't care if it's Iowa State. I don't care if it's Baylor. I don't care who it is they strap it on against in the Big 12 championship. Georgia, LSU in the postseason. Ohio State, Michigan in the regular season. We got 2 more weeks. We got a week and a half, touch over a week and a half left, and we'll have our 4. Georgia's going in regardless of what happens to them. The only other question is, will it be LSU or Tennessee that joins them? And who between Michigan and Ohio State plays their way in? That's it. That's all that matters. it kind of feels, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just looking for a reason to complain a little bit here. But does the end of this college football season not feel a little anticlimactic? It does to me. It just feels like a bit of a letdown. It's been a great college football season, but the end of it just feels like a little bit of an anticlimactic letdown.
Maybe for you, I'm nervous. So I mean, because
you got a team in the only game in the regular season left that matters.
Yeah, that last game, hopefully a game of vengeance where everything's riding on it, and this might possibly be the biggest game of the entire college football season.
No, I would say Georgia Tennessee was on par. I would say that that Tennessee Alabama was on par. I'd say there are a handful of other games. It is the last most important game of the college football season.
I get what you're saying there, but those teams weren't last game of the season, undefeated, everything on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get it because the winner of Tennessee Georgia, even before that game, it felt like the winner of Tennessee versus Georgia was still going to walk out of that game with a chance. The question mark is, does the loser of Ohio State, Michigan walk out of that game with a chance to still get their way in? And to me, the answer is no.
Right, because they're done. The loser of that game is done and has no chance to come back the next week and say, hey, look at us now. It's done. It's over.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I get it in that Georgia, Tennessee, there was no coming back from that. Alabama, LSU, I guess to some degree, because LSU at the time, I didn't feel like we knew was necessarily playing for a championship, even though Bama already had an L in that Tennessee game. There was still a lot going on. In that if LSU lost that game, obviously Bama goes to the SEC title game, but it still didn't feel, even though if we'd have really thought about it, it would have made sense. It didn't really feel like LSU was playing for an SEC championship berth, and with a victory, even at 11-2, potentially playing for a ticket to the playoffs, which, again, if they're able to beat Georgia, in the SEC championship game, even as a 2-loss thing, I think LSU can get in. Right? I think a 2-loss SEC champ might still very well get in over a 1-loss Big Ten non-con because of playing in the conference championship game.
Nope. I don't believe it. Plus, I'm not sure LSU is winning, so it's not really going to matter anymore.
No, LSU's not beating Georgia. I'll ride with that. LSU is not beating Georgia. I will ride with that. But I will say I am intrigued by the possibility. LSU can probably throw the one thing at Georgia that a lot of teams have not been able to do, with a quarterback that is able to extend the field laterally. Anthony Richardson for Florida was not playing when they played Georgia the way that he played against South Carolina and against Texas A&M on the road. And Hendon Hooker is exceptional, no doubt about it, but Hendon Hooker's entire play is the long ball. It is the long ball. That's their thing. And it works great for them. But Jayden Daniels can extend the field left and right to make plays take longer, give them more time to develop in a way that I don't know if Hendon Hooker does. But we'll see. And we will talk about that later on in the show. Obviously, we have to get into last night's Monday Night Football game because the Philadelphia Eagles booted the bed in the biggest way I have seen in a hot minute. Did you catch the end of that game last night?
I fell asleep before the end. I did read about it and watch some video though. You
know what? Let me just play you the audio from the end of that game. It's 2 clips wedged and edited together. All right. Washington, the Commanders, bum, coming to that game 4-5 against the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Last team still without a blemish in the NFL. Taylor Heinicke. Heinicke.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Heinicke, man. That
dude's got gas.
He just wins.
He's got gas for days, man. That dude is like if cocaine wore a football jersey. He just does not stop. He is Scarface with a helmet. Just go, 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 go. Love that guy. So the Washington Commanders are leading the Philadelphia Eagles late in the game. Jalen Hurts finds a receiver deep down the middle, takes it, cuts it, fights for more yards, and drops the football, turns it over. Third Philadelphia Eagle turnover on the night. The Eagles, through the first 8 games, turned the ball over 3 times. Combined. Last night, turned it over 3 times in a single game. Drops the ball. Washington gets the ball back. They run it on first. They run it on second. And then they go to pass it on third. A first down doesn't end the game because Philly still had 1 timeout, but it would basically let them run the clock down to about 6 seconds. Heinicke drops back to pass, and I'm going to play that clip followed by what happened because they did get the first down. They were able to run it down to that 6 seconds, but they had to punt it away to Philly, and Philly had 1 play left. Here are those 2 plays combined.
We've talked a lot about the Eagles and their staff and what Nick Sirianni has done, but this Washington staff, this would be the biggest one under Ron Rivera to be able to come in on the road and have a game like this tonight if they're able to close it out.
They're going to throw on 3rd down and 7. Instead, Heinicke wisely, and now a flag, and that's going to, in essence, end the game. A flag on that hit as Heinicke had taken a knee, and they slam Heinicke down, and that's when the flag came out. And it happened right in front of Nick Sirianni.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 55, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Against Brandon Graham, the 13-year pro, with the frustration coming out, and this right here at the end,
Tough call. I mean, a tough call. It's the right call, but you can see that he gave himself up. Brandon Graham, the game's on the line. He's trying to make a play, and it looked like he's trying to hold up at the end of this and not hurt him.
Right, but that head and neck is protected, does give himself up. It is a foul by rule.
It's said every year when the last unbeaten falls at the 72 Dolphins celebrate their perfect season, should be the last play. Hurts underneath, and now the laterals. And instead, it's going to be picked up for a touchdown on that lateral by Casey Toohill. And the Commanders have won this game. And Taylor Heinicke can celebrate a big road win here in Week 10.
And that is how the Philadelphia Eagles' undefeated season would come to its conclusion.
What's the problem?
It was hilarious.
No, I mean, well,
no problem at all. It was
okay.
hilarious.
I was going to say, he took a knee and they hit him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, without a doubt, that's a penalty.
Yeah. So you have seen that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that part.
Yeah. As soon as he did it, I was the lady friend and I went and watched Black Panther last night. Got back to the house in time for the 4th. Watching through. We're laying in the bed. She's doing her crossword puzzle. I'm watching Monday Night Football because we're 90. And that play happens. First off, good on Heinicke, right? Smart play by Heinicke. Don't force it. Don't wing it down the field. Don't risk the intentional grounding. Don't risk getting hit and fumble. Don't worry about any of that. Just take the knee, get the clock running, or make them burn up their last time out before they get the ball back on the punt. Smart play. He drops down, but then he did something I thought was really intelligent. You know, a lot of guys in that situation, when they decide to go to the ground zone, they lay down, right? They slide. They lay down flat on the back. Heinicke just kind of took the knee, right? He just kind of crouched down and took the knee. Very clearly took the knee. No question he was on the knee, but went down and took the knee. But then he kept himself upright. Because I think I think he knew he was going to be under a lot of heat, right? The Eagles were bringing some extra men. They wanted to try to disrupt that play, especially when they came to recognizing the pass, right? We get to him, we take him down, you can use that timeout. We can save how many seconds on the clock? So Heinicke goes down, but he doesn't slide. He doesn't go flat to the ground. He takes the knee and kind of hunches over, and then he just waits, right? He just waits. And not one but two different Eagles come in and very clearly hit him late. You heard Troy say, oh, that's a tough call. Not really. Not really. The lady friend's doing the crossword, and I just out loud went, that's roughing the passer, right? That's not roughing the passer. It's unnecessary roughness, but you get it. But that's 15. That's first down. That's ball game. That's a ball game. She's like, what are you talking about? That's a ball game. That was the dumbest thing that Philadelphia could have done. You had him dead to rights, right? When he took the knee, pull up and call that TO. Pull up and call that timeout. Stop that clock. Give yourself time on the other end with the football. Even if you got no timeouts left when they get to offense, give them a chance. Dumbest thing they could have done. Then they go for the old 97 lateral play, and absolutely fitting of what the Washington Commanders did last night. Philly just throws the ball into the end zone for the Commanders to pick up to add a free 6 onto the end of it. Phenomenal job. Just spectacular job. Philly just absolutely boated the bed last night, and it was pretty spectacular, to be honest with you. Pretty spectacular. All right. Lot to get into on the show today. The rumors are picking up. I don't believe them. All right. Let me just start with that. The rumors are picking up that Lane Kiffin's going to Auburn. That sets up what could very well become the most interesting rivalry in sports. Lane versus Nick. Lane's got a lot of respect for Nick. He always defends Nick, right? Even when the Jimbo Nick Saban stuff was going on preseason, Lane was stepping up to defend Nick. But they are both very unique people. Very unique people. So I'm really intrigued to see what this rivalry looks like. If Lane Kiffin ends up at Auburn, we'll talk about that. I wonder if this is a really interesting conversation. This morning I was going through, I've got our show prep sheet that we get sent every day. It's got a bunch of sound bites on it from, all over the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that has not settled down, despite the man now hanging on to a 1-0 record, is the number of former head coaches that have spent no shortage of time over the past couple of weeks. I should say over the last week, absolutely blasting the Indianapolis Colts for the hiring of Jeff Saturday as their interim head coach. I've got sound from Rex Ryan. I've got sound from Teddy Bruschi. And I've got sound from Joe Thomas, the former Cleveland Browns offensive line. Which, by the way, have you seen Joe Thomas lately, Lonzo?
He's bald. And
he is absolutely shredded. Like if you'd have been like, that guy's an offensive tackle and one of the biggest and meanest in the game, I'd have been like, no, that dude's a lineman.
Yeah, but you gotta bulk up to do that. You've seen a lot of linemen after they're done slim down and look totally different than what they did there.
Yeah, but Joe Thomas is like the extreme example of that. That dude looks like a bodybuilder. That dude's incredible. So we'll talk about that coming up later on in the show as well. And as I mentioned yesterday, a couple of teams in the National Football League that are not being mentioned as Super Bowl contenders that I think absolutely are. I'll tell you who they are. A couple of teams I put a little coin on as the potential winners of the championship. All that and more coming up on today's show. The great one, Lonzo, running the marathon on the other side of the board today. My name is Rob Brown. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to the fan upstate.
By the way, I'm not tired. I'm having stomach cramps really
I
bad.
gotcha. Okay.
And so when I'm yawning, I'm actually trying to breathe.
10-4.
Yes.
10-4.
So
All right. Let's see. Yeah, no, Skrilla, I'm sad to report that the Rob bots are gone. You guys, the OG Rob bots are still around, but our vast quantities of viewers are gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know what we did. I think Lonzo put out one too many AI is bad comments on the air.
no, I ticked Bruce off. That's what happened.
That's what it is.
Bruce is like, I'll show you.
Yeah. Kevin says no Pac-12 teams will make say if USC Cali win out and Pac-12 versus Tennessee. No Pac-12 teams are going in. Pac-12 is set up just like the Big 12 and the ACC. You have to. If there was an undefeated Pac-12 team, they would be in, but there's not, and the conference as a whole is not good enough to force a team in. That game hinges on the play of two guys, CJ or Blake. Would you agree? Which we talking Ohio State, Michigan, I'm assuming? I think Ohio State has enough talent that if CJ Stroud had an average game, they could still win the game.
Running backs, man. Running backs are injured. If the running backs don't come back, there's a problem. But there's also, think of the vengeance that Ohio State had on Clemson. If they come in with that kind of stuff, then they're probably good, even with the running backs injured.
Are
I've already done that a couple times today, Kevin. Thanks, though.
It was okay. It was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Thank
It was
you.
okay.
Thank you. I mean, you've got to compare it to the first one. And
First one was great. I love the first one.
And I've read some other things who said the exact same thing that I did. The tribute is great, but the plot itself is kind of
okay.
yeah.
It's okay.
And to me, one of my favorite characters in all of Marvel was not necessarily ruined, but I think the writing hurt her. That's all I'm saying. The bright spot, every time she came on screen, she's smiling, she's happy. And I realize that death affects everyone differently.
Sure.
But they took her down a path that I didn't think worked for her character.
I actually really enjoyed that aspect of the story. I enjoyed that aspect of the story because it resonated. When my dad passed, I was mean for a little while, like genuinely mean. I felt like I loved the speech where I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, you're getting spoiled. You're getting spoiled.
I love the speech that one of the characters gave to that character about how, things have been taken from you, because it resonated. That was the most emotionally impacting for me.
Riri bothered me too. I like the actress,
yeah,
but when you remove the backstory
that's exactly what I told Courtney. Exactly what I told Courtney. She's like, well, they'll probably give her own movie. I'm like, the problem is she's
got her own series coming out on Disney.
Right. But I needed that before I got this. Right? Like, I didn't like how they did Riri.
Well, she was a protege of someone.
And that's what I wanted to see.
Now she's not.
That's what I wanted to see.
I don't know why you would take that away, because you could tie everything in because of that.
Right. And it's a way to keep that other character alive,
Yes.
even if he's not alive.
Right.
I thought it was okay. If you're not already doing it, join us live on our live stream, which you can. Do you smell that too?
I think it's popcorn.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think someone made popcorn.
How does it waft through the whole freaking building?
The way the ductwork works, there are certain rooms. If something is made in those, it comes all the way over here.
Golly.
At least it's a pleasant smell as opposed to other smells that make their way over here. So
if you are not watching on the live stream, you can do so at a variety of destinations. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, or you can like and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube or on Twitch. Lonzo and I are live all 3 hours every single day. And we've got it's a fun little online community that we're working towards building. We get some new faces showing up and involving themselves in the conversation every now and then. And we want you to be the next. During that break, we just gave as spoiler-free as possible breakdown of Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever, which Lonzo saw last week. I saw last night. I'm going to tell you, it's worth going to see, but don't expect it to stack up with Winter Soldier. Don't expect it to stack up with the best. It's good. It's okay. It's not going to hit the upper echelon of best Marvel movies so far, but it's good.
it's not the worst one either.
No, it's far from the worst one.
So there's that. Yeah.
Far from the worst one, far from the best one. It's pleasantly right in the middle. But those are the types of conversations that we have off of the air on our live stream. So we'd love for you to join us at facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, or by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on YouTube and on Twitter. Let me get to this discussion. I have got a couple of clips. This conversation ongoing about Jeff Saturday is really interesting. Now, a lot of these discussions were taking place before the Indianapolis Colts went out and beat the Las Vegas Raiders 25-20 this weekend. And Jeff Saturday became just the second rookie coach in Colts history to win his debut game. But they were playing an embarrassingly bad Las Vegas Raiders team. An embarrassingly bad Las Vegas Raiders team. Like really bad Las Vegas Raiders team. I want to start, if you don't mind, Zoe, with the clip of Ryan and Brewski. This comes from one of the ESPN Talking Head shows. I forget which one. I apologize to them for that. But it is Rex Ryan and Teddy Bruschi. They are breaking down the hiring of Jeff Saturday, a former head coach, a former NFL player. Here is what Rex Ryan and Teddy Bruschi had to say.
And quite honestly, it's so disrespectful to every single coach that has actually been in this league. I had a guy named Mike Westhoff who coached for like 40 years in the National Football League, was never given a head coaching opportunity. There's a million great coaches were never given this opportunity. I look at the coaches on his staff. What message are you sending them? Like, oh, by the way, you're going to get fired. It's as simple as that. Because if you don't think somebody is more qualified to do the job as a head coach on that staff than bringing a guy in pretty much off the street with no experience, I mean, you're sadly mistaken.
I just go back and forth on this. I mean, I've got the former player and analyst hat on, and it's like part of me says, why not? Give him a chance. He'll learn as he goes. I mean, maybe they need a little shot in the arm for the Colts, and maybe he'll give them that. But then I just always go back to putting on how I'd be in that locker room as a player. And I was told that someone that was on ESPN commentating, doing show during the week is now my head coach. And the feeling that I get from that is more real, because right now, if I was there, I'd be thinking, well, we don't care about winning. Because now why are you playing with one of the chances that I have in my career, one of those years where you're playing, you fire an offensive coordinator, you fire a head coach, and now you're bringing this guy from TV.
Rex Ryan says, and we're going to hang on that word, it's disrespectful to have hired Jeff Saturday. Teddy Bruschi says the same thing without using that word, but he says, if I'm a player in there and I'm watching you bring a guy in off TV, right, whose experience in the NFL has been as a consultant, you're bringing him in off of TV, I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait a minute, are we not committed to winning, right? Why would we not roll with the guys that have been here since training camp? Why would we not roll with the guys that have been here from the beginning? But they weren't the only ones. Let me go to Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher on CBS Sunday Morning's Football Breakdown. Before they got started, Bill Cowher went in a very similar direction. Optimistically speaking.
Guys, I played in the National Football League for 5 years. I went on to become an assistant coach, right from playing the coach, and I was assistant coach for 7 years. Blessed to be able to go to Pittsburgh and be a head coach at the age of 34 for 15 years. I'm speaking on behalf of the coaching profession. I know for a fact that Jeff Saturday was offered an opportunity to become an assistant coach with the Indianapolis Colts multiple times in the last 4 years. He declined, citing that he had a TV job and wanted to spend more time with his family. I get it.
That's fair.
I get it. Coaching is about commitment and it's about sacrifice. It's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. That being said, Jeff Saturday has taken a position this year as a consultant for the Indianapolis Colts. And he's talked to them weekly from his home in Atlanta. Wow. Now to find out on Monday, in that short period of time, he's now the head coach of the new Indianapolis Colts, overseeing a staff that he chose not to join because of a lifestyle. Jeff Saturday talked about in his first press conference the fact that he's going to use his second half as an opportunity to build his resume, to see whether or not he can coach in the future. I say to that, what about the assistants on the staff right now? The guys that were there in training camp, the guys that were there early in the morning and late at night, the guys that have gone through the first 6 weeks in that building, guys like Gus Bradley, Scotty Montgomery, John Fox. Don't they deserve the opportunity for an owner to hire a coach who's never been an assistant at the college level or the pro level and overseeing a lot of candidates that are qualified for that job, as we see in Steve Wilks, an opportunity to build a resume? It's a disgrace to the coaching profession. And regardless how this thing plays out, what happened in Indianapolis is a travesty.
So there is Bill Cowher saying that the hiring of Jeff Saturday is, quote, a travesty.
Righteous anger. That was righteous anger. That's what that was. That was hilarious.
And then there's Joe Thomas, former Cleveland Browns offensive lineman. He is an analyst now on the NFL Network. He sat down on, I believe, Good Morning Football, and he gave his thoughts on the hiring of Jeff Saturday.
When you hire your drinking buddy to be the head coach of an NFL football team, it is one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen in my entire life to the commitment, the lifestyle, and the experience that it takes to be an NFL coach, any coach, much less the head coach of the Indianapolis Football Colts. You have got to be kidding me that this is something that Jim Irsay and Jeff Saturday, who's not blameless for accepting the job, could have talked and decided that this was the best thing for the Indianapolis Colts at this juncture of the season. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I lived right next door to Rob Chudzinski. He was our head coach for one season in Cleveland. The commitment that it takes to be a head coach in the NFL is beyond what people can even comprehend unless you've been in that locker room. He saw his children one time every week. That was Friday afternoon. We would get off about 2 o'clock. He would stay till 3. He would pick his kids up from school. He had 4 kids. He would go get ice cream with them. They would come home. Then he would drop them off and go back to the office. If it was a home game, he would get to see his kids 2 times during the week. Ice cream on Friday, and then Saturday afternoon, he still didn't see him because he stayed. Sunday, They would come to the game. He would drive them home after the game, drop them off, and go back to the office. That's a lifestyle. That's who you are. That's not something that you can just show up for. It's not something you sign up for.
Mid-season.
This is something that changes your life when you decide to be a coach. It's one of the reasons I don't want to coach, because I want to see my children. I want to have a life outside of football. When you're a coach in the NFL, you do not have a life outside of football. Why do you think coaches never retire? What are they going to do? They haven't developed any other parts of their life. They don't have hobbies. They don't have a lot of other friends outside of their football world, because you live football. Your children, if you're lucky enough to be able to coach with them like Coach Belichick, Shanahan, then you get to have that relationship, Pete Carroll. But outside of that, it's a different lifestyle because it's who you are. So the disrespect that NFL coaches have to feel when they saw that this hire was made is higher than almost anything I can ever possibly remember in the NFL.
The disrespect felt by other coaches in the National Football League is higher than anything else I can ever remember. Bill Cowher said, it is a disrespect. It is a travesty. Rex Ryan said, it is disrespectful. Teddy Bruschi said, I could not imagine being a player in that locker room thinking, okay, we don't want to win. This is disrespectful to the players. You know, we got a text that just came in on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. Fan, why do they care? Coaching staffs literally fall apart after every coaching change. Talking heads just talking. You know, most of the time, Lonzo, I fall in that camp, right? I'm like, I'm not really worried about talking heads. They're just talking heads. If this was Skip or Steven or, well, not even Shannon, because he was in the game. And if this was Skip or Steven or Carton or whoever else, I'd be like, all right, dude, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But this is not a couple of talking heads from the outside looking in. These are NFL head coaches, NFL assistant coaches, NFL players, high-level NFL players, top-level NFL players. And I can't recall a point in time, though, where there seemed to be such a consensus. Now, that was only, 4 guys, right? Ryan Bruschi, Cowher, and Thomas. That was only 4 guys. But when I saw all these clips come across at the same time, and I found them yesterday, I thought about them last night, I decided today to bring it up. I wanted to go look and see if I could find a previous coach or a previous player that went, yeah, it's a good idea, right? They asked Jim Irsay, why'd you do this? He said, oh, he doesn't bring any baggage, right? He doesn't bring any fear. He doesn't bring any concern. He's got no baggage. I'm like, all right, let me go see if there's another coach, another player, anywhere at all, any regime, any time period that agree with Jim Irsay. Maybe there is. I could not find a shred of evidence. I could not find a former coach. I could not find a former head or assistant coach. I could not find a former player that was like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. It's a great idea. Good rationale from Jim Irsay. Now, it's Jim Irsay's program, and as far as I'm concerned, he can do whatever the hell he wants, all right? I am old school in that manner. If it's your business, you do whatever the hell you want to do with it, right? You want to hire and fire based on whatever method you want to decide to hire or fire, that's fine. There are going to be social consequences. I hope you pay those social consequences. But hire and fire who you want. Doesn't mean I can't call it a dumb move. And I did, and I do, right? So a lot of people that are, wait a minute, Jeff Saturdays want to know. Jeff Saturdays want to know. You won a game, right? Yeah. And he made the decision that the Colts wouldn't make with Frank Reich there, which is to go back to Matt Ryan, who is the correct answer to play the quarterback role. But you played arguably the worst team in the National Football League to get there. You barely squeaked out and went over them. It was 25-20. They didn't blow them out of the water. And again, I don't know how much it matters. I don't know if it matters, right? I don't know how much or if it matters. But I have not seen, that I can recall off the top of my head, Zoe, such a united front from former gamers, from former players, from former coaches. I've not seen such a united front calling out an NFL franchise for a single decision in my recent memory.
How dare they? How dare they mess with the sanctity of the brotherhood, of the club, of the fraternity of coaches within the NFL? which is bigger than everything else. How dare they do what some people like Rob Brown have called for forever, and that is quit recycling the same guys over and over again. Quit recycling the same guys over and over again. Okay, I'm just going to bring this guy. How dare you? How dare you? And those guys, the 4 guys that were just, what was their response after the victory? Did they go directly to them? Did the reporters go directly? You had this to say about Jeff Saturday. What do you say now after the victory? Did they go do that? No, because they're waiting. They're waiting for him to lose. Then they'll come back out and start talking again. But the fact that he won a game, it shut them up because they can't say anything. And if he were to, he won't. But if he were to go undefeated the rest of the way, those guys I don't think should be on TV anymore because obviously they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, first off, let's start with this. You and I and literally everyone else knows that getting something wrong on TV is irrelevant if the numbers are there, right? Getting something wrong on TV doesn't matter as long as people are watching you be wrong. Skip, right? But for the record, agree with those guys, right? When I say
you wait, you agree with those guys. Yeah. So you can have it both ways. You can go, well, he never coached, so he shouldn't be there. But you can also say they need to stop this cycle of recycling coaches. How can you be both? How can you be both? Explain it to me. I don't get it.
I'm happy to. When I say stop recycling coaches, I mean stop recycling head coaches, right? I don't mean stop pulling guys from the coaching ranks that have been in the game, that understand the mindset. Yes, even Rob, even the Bleeding Heart, who wants coaches and players to be people and have the ability to have their life and express their opinions, yada, yada, yada. It is still a special type of cat required to do this job and to do it well, right? Every time, and yes, I am going to compare my job to an NFL head coach here. I offer constantly, and I'll offer it on the air again. If somebody's interested in getting into this job, getting into this career, getting into this path, I am happy to give all the advice that I can give. But part of the advice, and we had this conversation yesterday, Zoe. Part of the advice we give is there's going to come a point in time, and it might be day one, it might be week one, it might be month one, it might be year one, but there's going to come a point in time where you're going to realize this life ain't for everybody, right? This life's not for everybody. When I date, I did this with a lady from when I date, I'm like, hey, you just got to understand my life's not normal. It's not like everybody else. I don't have Friday nights all the time. I don't have Saturdays. I don't have Sundays. I got stuff I got to do for my career because I'm dedicated to it, right? This life ain't it for everybody. Zoe, how many people have we seen show up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because they get to be on the sports talk radio station and within 3 weeks they're gone because they're like, this ain't for me. I ain't down to work 2, 3, 4 weeknights a week, sitting behind a board, getting recognition or getting no recognition for pushing buttons. I ain't down to give up my Friday night to come in here and listen to Rob Brown scream at a high school football game to never be talked about. I ain't here to give up multiple Saturdays through the bowl season to come in and run games. I ain't about that life. And they wash out. Rob, aren't you afraid you're training your replacement? Hell no. Because the overwhelming majority that I've tried to give a leg up in this business, it ain't for them. NFL coaching's 50,000 times worse than that, right? And if Jeff Saturday has said no to being a coach multiple times to spend time with his family, as Bill Cowher just said he had conversations with Saturday about, now all of a sudden, because he gets to be a head coach, now that's going to change. I think it's a bad way to treat your fans. I think it's a bad way to treat your fans. I think they see exactly what's happening here. And when you have got an almost united front of former players and coaches all saying the same thing, like I've never seen them do before, I think there's something to that. Come back and wrap up hour number 1 next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Sunday when they visit the Ravens. Carolina hoping to keep the momentum going after last Tuesday's 25-15 win over the Falcons. Baltimore's won 3 straight. They're the leader in the AFC North. Falcons basketball takes on Pitt. Penn State this Thursday morning. It's all part of the Charleston Classic. And on Friday, they'll square off with either Virginia Tech or Old Dominion. Tonight, the Clemson Tigers take on South Carolina Upstate. Furman football puts a 5-game winning streak on the line this week. They're 6-1 in the Southern Conference, 8-2 overall. Only 7-0 Stanford is better in conference play. The Paladins wrap up the regular season at home this Saturday. It's a noon kickoff against Wofford. We'll have all the action live on the Fan Upstate. Clemson football is home against Miami this Saturday. The number 1 Tigers tops in the ECC.
That's true, Kevin. He wouldn't have done that, but he's already pointed that out that he wouldn't turn down money like
Hell
that.
no, I wouldn't have turned that job down. Are you kidding me? Of course I wouldn't have turned that job down. Absolutely not. That'd be stupid.
He'd take it more serious than Saturday is, though. Saturday, the way Saturday's playing it is perfect. Hey, man, I'm just out here doing my thing. I think he's playing it perfectly. He may not be doing anything. Someone else may actually be running the thing. But he's just the guy out there taking all the heat and winning games. All right, winning a game.
Not, there's another guy behind the throne.
Of course.
There's a man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Even those that increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions.
And admittedly, I love it when elitist attitudes get put to the test, and then someone goes out and wins, and then they shut up. Because that's exactly what's happening.
The worst team in the league.
Doesn't matter. He may lose the rest of the games, but for 1 week, all those guys shut up. The producer said, okay, we're not talking about this today. We're going to move on to something else. Hey, what's Dallas doing?
Hey, what's Dallas doing?
That's the go-to, especially for ESPN. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
That's no payment for a full year. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American made.
He probably is, Brandon. Absolutely, he probably is. And that's the smart move.
Yeah, no, listen. John Fox is on the staff, Caldwell's on the there's we looked it up. There is 7 coaches on that staff who have 15 or more years of NFL coaching experience, right? Like if there was a staff to land on, right? If you're going to get tossed into the job blind, the Colts staff was a real good one to accidentally land on, without a doubt. However, it's just a bad look, man. It's a bad way to treat your fans.
It's not a bad look. The fans are happy with the victory. I know some.
Yes, but you are taking this much of a thing and being like it overwhelms all of this amount.
He's not going to be a coach next year. They weren't going to win a whole lot the rest of the year.
Then why not do a Steve Wilkes thing and like find somebody to give an opportunity?
There's nobody on that staff that they're going to promote to head coach. Right. They have looked at it and they've decided none of these guys are our guys. We're cleaning the house at the end of the year. Let's have some fun with it. Again, I don't have a problem with it. The bad part is Rob seems to be offended by it, and those other people are very offended. And I don't get it. A business owner decided to go a different direction that's other than what the norm is. I think he will, if it fails, he'll get what he deserves as far as that goes. But if it succeeds, all those guys are scared because the NFL is full of trends. If it succeeds, suddenly we're actually going to get some new people all over the place. It's going to be fun chaos.
Actually said, Rob, working at Target does not guarantee you first dibs on the next open management position. I don't disagree with you. right? But what if you worked at Target for 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years, right? You would learn the way that Target operates. You know their systems. You know their protocols. You've managed every department. You understand what's going on. And then one day they go, we hired Bob to be the manager. And you're like, who's Bob? And they're like, they're a secret shopper. They've been secret shopping at Target once a week for a couple of years, right? Why is that the guy? Well, they're a good consultant, right? Like, wait a minute. I learned how you want this program to run. I learned how you want this operation to run. But now you're hiring a dude from the outside whose qualifications are effectively that he's been in a Target.
You know what you're not going to get? The manager from the Target down the street talking about it, and the manager from the Target across town talking about it. You're not going to get all those guys offended that it happened. You're just not. It just, all this, the anger makes no sense. It doesn't. And this from me, who's been here going on 23 years, I've been passed over before. Did it make me mad? Yeah. But
you ever been passed over somebody who's never been in radio at any level? Just guy walks in the street and gets a job above yours? No.
Half the people I've trained lately have had no experience in radio.
How many
And
of those are now over you?
a couple of those guys went on to be in engineering and other places.
They did what? They went on to after they had built experience.
And one of the
within building?
guys I trained ended up being my boss for a while. He did.
Maybe, but he was in the building and he went through the process.
Did he?
How many guys?
No. You're assuming. You don't know how long it took for him to be over me.
How many guys came in off the street and were your boss? Never happened in my career, and I've been in it. I've only been in it 15 years, but in 15 years, I have never had anybody come off the street and then I was working for them. Never happened.
Be careful what you wish for.
No, I am not wishing for it.
Because
I'm literally the one doing the exact opposite of wishing
you
for it.
appear to be wishing for that.
I am the only one in this room who is actively saying that's a bad way to run a football program or business. To just pick a guy up off the street because they're familiar with
I'm just guessing, and I don't know because I don't have time to listen to everything on this station, but I'm guessing that the other guys probably agree with you too. And if so, you're all wrong.
We'll find out.
My island is not a lonely island because there are people out there listening right now who are with me.
Sure, there are contrarians.
It's not being a contrarian.
It absolutely is.
It is not because I'm not following along with your way of thinking. Your way of thinking it's not. I don't understand it when it comes to this.
I mean, it's just me and a couple of Super Bowl winning coaches.
Yeah, it's either you want change or you don't.
No,
I mean, just make up your mind. You want change or you don't.
This is not a black or white, left or right, up or down issue. There are not only two opposing viewpoints where it's either this or that.
Change can't happen. Don't call for change, and then when it happens, go, no, that's not what I meant.
No, that's wrong, Lonzo. Change is on a spectrum, just like everything has a spectrum.
Here's where he goes science and tries to do all this,
spectrum.
but we don't have time.
Sure we do. Change. I got 46 seconds. Change is on a spectrum. Asking for change does not mean you got to light the whole thing on fire and start from the beginning. You change little things.
It's on the spectrum.
And little things add up to big things. Little changes add to big changes. Hey, there's a spider in this building. We should change it. Light it on fire. No, that's that's not good.
That's a bad example because there are a lot of people in here who would catch the building. Yes.
Eagles, Steelers, Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. Colts win at most one more game. At most, they win one more game. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show for hour numero dos of the Fan Upstate.
In truth, Kevin, I still don't know what I'm doing. So, I mean, there's that.
Kevin, did you roll up into the building and then they went, okay, here's a crew. Like you're now in charge of this fleet of heavy equipment. No. Even if you faked it till you make it to be an operator, you showed up and you faked it to be an operator, right? Not a foreman, right? You didn't do that. I didn't show up at the station.
You say you didn't do that, but you don't know that he didn't do that.
Like, you're a programming director.
You don't know. Don't put words in someone's mouth when you don't know.
I got $1 in my wallet right now. Kevin says, "Take your shoes off and chill." No. Bunch of smart asses on the stream.
off any new system. Visit simplisafe.com/holiday to save big today. There's no safer like SimpliSafe.
No one's more locked into the NFL than First and Pod.
Same here. I'm still doing that, Kevin.
Geno Smith was a victim of a horrible organization, bad offensive coaching, and then went and played behind 3 high-level talents and only got spot starts and did okay, by the way.
Well, because it doesn't really happen that often.
Indeed.
On the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Gary David here with Travis Benson, the owner of CMT Foundation.
He might really be just a little bit mad right now.
Who is CMT Foundations? Well, let me tell you who we aren't. We are not salespeople. We're a general contractor specializing in foundation repair. As the founder, I have a calling to help people regain their peace of mind by knowing their
I secretly hope that he went to tell management to send me home early because I'm okay with that. Right. On the job training happens in a lot of places. Isn't like dude has no experience in football at all. I mean, he obviously has a pretty good knowledge of the game or he wouldn't be on the air talking about it. So, I mean, I don't know. He's back. He's still mad. I think it's a jacket. I think when you,
my cool biker look.
yeah, when you're wearing the biker jacket, you just come in angry.
My cool biker jacket.
That's how that works.
I got to did my hair and everything.
Come on, Kevin. Stop it.
Kevin. Come on, man. Come on, man.
At the Home Depot, we have Black Friday savings all through November. And with that comes a joyful holiday bustle that we just love to hear. Although we also love the sound that comes.
You're right, Lisa. It is a sweet jacket. It comes with an attitude.
Thanks, Miss Lisa. You're the best.
This is one of those conversations I'm glad we never had in the office. I'm glad this is taking place on the air.
So that you can display to the world how wrong you are about bacon. I respect that. Yeah, and I'm looking through the responses, and I'd say it's about 50-50. I prefer the old-fashioned way. Put it in a frying pan, let it fry in its own greasy goodness. That's where the glory of bacon shall forever be sung. When you're cooking bacon, is effectively angels singing the praises of the best food.
Same Great Show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 19 a.m. only on the Fan Upstate.
Hey, Paladin fans, Dan Scott here reminding you
That makes no sense.
Yeah, this is my millennial. Good Lord.
I wanted them down millennicals.
My millennial haircut. This is Jesse. This is the haircut you get when all your best qualities are from your eyes up, you know? Yeah, the Hawks are on a roll right now, Brandon, for sure. Hawks on an absolute roll right now. Freaking shocking that the Pelicans are back on national TV and Zion's hurt again. Because why not? Unreal.
He doesn't play Call of Duty, does he?
It's a good question. Z took a day off to squat up with the boys one more time. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. My name is, well, Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo on the other side of the metaphorical class today. If you'd like to be a part of the radio broadcast, now is an excellent time to do just that. Be a part of the show by shooting us a text on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we shall read them live on the air. You can also come on the air with us at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-F-A-N-F-O-N-E. That is 844-326-3663, 844-326-3663 if you want to jump on the air with us. I appreciate all of y'all that have texted the show so far this morning. We want that to continue. Watch the live stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate or by searching and subscribing to the Rob Brown Show on YouTube or on Twitch. All of those are right there for you as well. I read a very interesting conversation about NIL this morning. There's an article up on yahoosports.com written by David Whitley of the Gainesville Sun. And I'm going to summarize it, and I think fairly so. David Whitley said that there is a bit of unfairness in the way that NIL is structured, particularly when it comes to female athletes, right? And that is the fact that when it comes to NIL regarding female athletes, it is predominantly attractive female athletes who are making the most money, right? We talked about this last week. The third highest paid athlete in regard to NIL is a young woman by the name of Olivia Dunn. Olivia is a gymnast at LSU. She is raking in effectively 7 figures in NIL money right now. The next two on the list are Haley and Hannah Cavender. They both play basketball for the University of Miami. Remember that the two of them were playing at, if I recall correctly, Stanford, transferred to the University of Miami. And while they never explicitly said so, they also have not, to my recollection, denied that a good chunk of the reason that they transferred to the University of Miami is because there was more NIL opportunity down there, right? More opportunity there in Miami than there was over on the left coast for them as NIL. All three of them are blonde, very attractive athletes, right? All three of them, Olivia and the Cavender twins, have TikToks and Instagrams where they are very frequently seen in scantily clad, I think is the way that I'll put it, in swimwear, in their gymnast outfits, et cetera, And they are also three of the, I think, 10 highest paid athletes when it comes to NIL. And the argument here is that it's not really fair, right? There's a lot of spectacular female athletes around the country that are not anywhere near the 7 figures that Olivia Dunn and the Cavender twins are bringing in based on NIL. And I want to be abundantly clear here, a couple of things. Number one, nobody, myself included, ever argued that NIL was going to be fair, right? that every kid was going to have the opportunity to make the same amount of money. I've heard the argument frequently. In fact, my colleague and partner in crime, Mark Ryan, and I have gotten to this discussion off the air a number of times, right? He and Diesel both believe, and I think there may be a chance that Lonzo's in that group with them, though we will find out here momentarily, that there should be a cap on the amount of NIL money that you're allowed to bring in. Like, once you hit that cap, you either can't make any more NIL money and that money goes to the school, or that you can receive a percentage and the rest of that is to be spread out amongst the rest of your teammates, right? Because it is with their success that you are building on the back of. And I, from the beginning of this, never once said it's going to be fair. And it's not different in any other business anywhere else. It's just not, right? When I worked at the television news channel back in Pensacola, Florida, they hired me as a street level beat reporter, right? I got in the office. I found a story. I went out. I did interviews. I went to the scene of whatever the story was. I got the B-roll. I came back and put the story together. When I got hired, I told the guy who hired me, right? He's like, what do you want to do? Like, I want to be a sports anchor, right? If I'm going to do TV, I want to be a sports anchor. I want to be in sports. And I want to elevate that from sports anchor to sports center. And then I want to elevate sports center to guy who's doing play-by-play and traveling the country, yada, yada. Still do, right? And the very first thing he told me when he hired me at 30 years old, 30, I think, 29, something like that. He said, look, if you want this to work, you're going to need to drop about 40 pounds. I was like, dude, really? It's like, yeah, sorry. That's just the way it works. If you want to be an on-camera guy, you're going to have to drop about 40 pounds. You're going to have to slim down. You're going to have to get to where he didn't say this part, this is me, but you're going to have to get to where the top button on your suit, when you fasten it, doesn't look like it's hanging on for dear life. First time I went on camera, I was like, hey, Mom, how'd I do? She's like, you did great, but you probably need to lose a little LBs. I was like, Mom, the camera adds 10 pounds. And my mother said, how many cameras do they have pointed at you? I watched when I was in TV. Off the top of my head, 3 different people come in that were street level reporters, hired as the same level as me, accelerate above me, that I was better than. And this is not me because I'm like, oh, I'm great. I mean, I was just genuinely better than them. I was told I'm better than them by the guy who made the decision, but they promoted them to the anchor desk because they're more pleasant to look at. That's the reality. Calvin Klein has a choice to advertise their underwear. Who are they going with? Cristiano Ronaldo or John Daly? Let's be honest, right? That's just kind of how it works. NIL, just like literally everything else where money exchanges hands in return for labor or image, is inherently biased towards attractive people. Always has been. Predictably always will be, right? Just always has been, always will be. There are, and I'm not saying that everybody at the top level of TV is where they are because they are attractive, but genuinely, if you're scrolling television, the majority of the people you're going to see on camera are attractive people. I promise you, there are a lot of exceptionally talented people that you will never see in front of a camera, not because they don't have the skill set, but because they're just not as attractive as the guy who has equal skills, sometimes lesser skills, right? I heard another conversation late last week about capping NIL. We should cap NIL. We should cap NIL. We should cap NIL. Here's the deal. It's always going to cater towards people who are either attractive or have a remarkably high skill set at a valuable spot. Quarterbacks are always going to make more than left guards. And it's true at every level, right? I have never before heard an NFL fan go, you know, we should cap the amount of money quarterbacks can make to make it more fair to the left guard. Left guard doesn't put any less money in, right? Left guard doesn't put in any less effort. He's not working out less. If anything, the left guard probably puts in more work than the star quarterback, at least physically speaking, right? But nobody's ever said, let's not let quarterbacks make $250 million guaranteed money. Deshaun, Russ, so that the left guard can be paid more. It's never happened. Yet for some reason, everybody wants to hammer the NIL and claim it's just the worst thing in the world. It's no different than any other business, any other job. And remember, the job is not to play football or to be a gymnast or to be a college basketball player. It is a byproduct of it. The job is to be seen. That's it. Well, these young ladies, specifically, whether you like the way that they have done it or not, have built up followings of millions of people. And every one of those people is a potential customer to anybody who would hire them to promote their product, right? If I'm trying to get the Rob Brown Show seen and heard in a community where I'm trying to spread the good word of the Rob Brown Show and spread the good word of Lonzo, I am not going to do anything but find the people who are in front of the most people and ask them to wear a t-shirt or hold up a sign or whatever it's going to be. That's just how it works, how it's always worked, how it's going to continue to work. These young ladies, pre-NIL, were in the process of building up fan bases that contained millions of eyeballs. They're going to get paid for that. Now, I don't love influencer culture, okay? I don't. Influencer culture is arguably the worst thing that has come out of social media. There's a lot of good that comes from social media. There's a lot of bad that comes out of it too, right? I saw somebody the other day say, the best thing that has ever come from social media is that everybody gets their voice heard. You know what the worst thing to come from social media is? Everybody gets their voice heard. Lonzo, you and I have been working on building up our stream and building up our social media presence for the show for how long now?
Since we started doing it,
yeah.
Which who knows how long ago that was. I don't remember.
And I would argue that between the stream, the social, the podcasting, the content we try to generate, you and I probably put, and most people in our station probably put as much work, if not more work, into building the brand than we do actually generating a great show. Granted, it comes easy for us. It's just natural for us. But we are nowhere near what Olivia Dunn has been able to build, what the Cavender twins have been able to build, right? Now, they're obviously far more visible than we are, but they're more visible because they're more visible. They put in the work to build an Instagram following or a TikTok following that every time they make a post gets seen, not exaggerated, millions of times. Well, if I wanted to get the Rob Brown Show seen that many times, the correct way is to go, hey, Olivia, I'll give you $2,000 to film a TikTok where you do a stupid dance. And then go, oh, and by the way, while I'm doing this stupid dance, listen to the Rob Brown Show, 9 to noon on the Fan Upstate. Millions of people. If 1% of her audience checked out the Rob Brown Show because she asked them to, our audience would double, triple, quadruple, who knows? 1%, right? So why wouldn't it make sense? Why did Dr. Pepper give DJ Uiagalelei so much money? How much more money? How many more eyeballs does Dr. Pepper get on it? If last year, as was expected, DJ Uiagalelei wins the Heisman Trophy and goes on a Heisman Trophy tour and is in every other commercial. And every time it's, I love the taste of refreshing Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, but now it's Bryce who
exactly
who stole someone's mom and dad in his room. Just
I really like that one. That was a good one.
Good commercial. As far as the cap goes, there shouldn't be a cap. You let the cat out of the bag with no regulations at all. It's a free for all. Let it go. I mean, you can't fix it now. And
fixed.
Well, anyway, and Trey brought up something that I was going to bring up. There are no ugly dudes being advertised either. Why is it okay to point out that all the women are only making money because they're pretty? Why not the guys. We just talked about Bryce Young. Not an ugly dude. They're not picking the most grotesque guy and giving them a lot of money. No, they're picking the guys who are going to move their product and they're not hard to look at.
For the record,
the pretty people succeed all over the place, no matter what the business. That's just unfortunately how it works.
For the record, the one example I used was a dude, right? Calvin Klein's advertising underwear. They're putting Ronaldo in it, not John Daly. Right?
Why you put that visual in everyone's mind now? Because John Daly would absolutely do it. Yeah, he would do it. He for sure would do it.
Hell yeah, he would. And it would be wildly successful for the comedy. I guess that's what I'm saying here is it's like every time that I hear another argument for why we need to put caps or get rid of or regulate NIL, it's always it's always for reasons that don't have justification to me. And when you put forward an argument that doesn't have justification, it comes across as because I don't like it, right? I am, and I think I have been, and I think I remain, and I do my best to be a spot where sports fans of all genders, races, creeds, religions, whatever, are all welcome. This show and sports are for everybody. Everyone should be welcome in the arena. Everyone. As a fan, as a commenter, as an athlete, everyone should be welcome. But sports in the real world don't exist in separate bubbles. How many times have you heard me say that, right? Sports and real life don't exist in separate bubbles. They bleed over into each other. And sports is a business, even at the college level. It always has been a business. It's just now we've opened up the profit to another group of people within that business, the athletes. Trey said, I think if John Daly did CK ads, they'd reach a broader demographic. Literally broader. Correct. I just, and you know, we're kind of laughing, but like I had this conversation not too long ago with the lady friend because I went clothes shopping, right? I needed a new pair of jeans. And I went to go pick up some jeans from Old Navy. And we were walking through the they got the big rack of jeans in the back, and we're walking through, and on the side of every rack, whether you go boot cut or carpenter cut or relax fit or loose fit or baggy fit or thin or skinny jeans, whatever you want to buy, they've got an illustration of a model wearing those jeans. But in the illustration, all the models are like $165 with ads. I'm like, dude, I need you to put a fat guy up there. I need you to put one fat guy up there so I can see what my fat behind is going to look like.
Why in the world are you going to Old Navy and expecting anything other than that? I mean, you have to pose every time you pick up yeah, there you go. See, that's what you got to do every time. Maybe that's why you're going.
I'm a natural. That's what sells, right? That's what sells. Always has been, always will be. The argument that
hey Rob, Walmart has a husky section. It's calling your name.
I'm not fat, I'm big boned. It's not sure I'm fat. The point here ultimately is that it is another argument from somebody who wants to stop or limit NIL. And the best argument they got is, I don't have an argument, so let me pick something arbitrary that is hard to argue against, right? Like it's hard to argue against it because you tiptoe on that line of sounding like a chauvinist when you do. I understand. When I was setting the segment up, I'm like, all right, I got to be careful with this one, right? But the reality of the situation, as much as we may like or dislike it, is that attractive people sell more. Attractive people have more eyeballs. If you want athletes who are not the standard definition of beauty or sex appeal or whatever, male or female, then you got to put more eyeballs on them and less on everything else. At the end of the day, no matter what the business is, the product is, the service is, no matter what any of this is, right? No matter what any of this is, at the end of the day, the only thing, by and large, the businesses care about is visibility and money. That's it. These women have built up a following of millions of people who follow them on social media and pay attention to what they say. And if it's because they're hot, so be it. So be it. You go on my social right now, it's a bunch of dork astrophysicists that I follow. right? But then I look at them, they got like
God, and scammers.
and
Yeah,
guys who
scammers.
bait scammers,
Yeah,
which is hilarious.
there
But even that, so there's one guy follow. He's built up a following of like 200,000 subscribers on YouTube because he gets these scam callers and he just screws with them, and it's hilarious. And guess what? I noticed in his videos from about 6 months ago that he picked up a big time national VPN company as an endorser. He is now making money because he did what? Put in the work to build his channel up to get hundreds of thousands of views every time he pops up a video, and now he's getting paid for it. If his product is I'm hilarious when scammers call me and I screw with them, and that intrigues people, good. If Olivia Dunn's product is I'm pretty and we're willing to throw her eyeballs for that, why shouldn't she get paid for it? Or anybody else, right? Texter said, Rob, I personally disagree with what Olivia Dunn posts on her Instagram, but if she's not using the LSU logo without permission or violating school policy, it should be a non-issue. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You don't have to like what she or anybody else anywhere else is posting, right? You don't have to like it. If you don't like it, don't follow it. Don't give her the eyeballs. The product is you. By the way, the product is you, right? If you're watching any type of YouTube channel or Instagram following or Twitter account, and that person is sponsored, you're the product, dude. Your eyeballs, your attention is the product. This is not something we should bring the hammer down on Olivia Dunn and the Cavendish twins. They put in a hell of a lot of work to build the following they have built. If a lot of that work is just being pretty and then doing all the framework to set up a following, good on them. It ain't easy. I'm very pretty, and I can't build up those numbers. Maybe I should try like rolling around in a swimsuit on the show once a month or something.
Yeah, we can arrange for a photographer to be in here. I know a guy. You know a guy. I'm sure he would love for that.
I just heard from Simpsonville the sound of Keegan zipping up his camera bag very quickly. All right, let's take a break. Got a few more things I want to get into when we come back here in just a minute. There's one game left in the college football regular season slate that matters. It is Ohio State, Michigan. But that is going to have lasting ramifications on every other team competing for a playoff bid right now. Is this an anticlimactic end to the college football season, or are there any other games that you were intrigued that I am missing out on? There he is. Look at that. At the buzzer. At the buzzer. What on, Keegan? Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got to do a live read. Stay right there.
Darnold will be the backup. Walker had started the past 5 games. Head coach Steve Wilkes explains how the injury happened.
It happened during the game, but he went back in there, and it wasn't anything that was reported because at the time he just sucked it up. You know, he played through it. But
Text from Rhonda Brown. That's the Madre for those of you watching at home. I love you. I'm proud of you. You know I would do anything for you. But put on a hat as I am saddened by whatever hairstyle you have going on right now. Be sad about it. I look good, Mom. I look real good. Real good. Lonzo's off camera, but he smirked a little bit.
My mom has hair down to her feet, so I'm okay. She's not going to say anything about my hair.
To her feet, really?
She's only like 5 foot tall, so it's not really.
Oh, fair enough.
it's
Okay.
Cool, but
Yeah.
not nearly as long as you think.
I love betting NFL first half unders and spreads more than full games. Why? There's more consistency. That's why. Take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 8-1 to the first half under so far this season, which means they start very slow against everyone. With Brady taking his own sweet time to get started in games this season, I don't see this trend stopping. Hammer the under on those Tampa Bay first half unders. I'm Trista Crick. Helping you beat the league.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. Thanks to Joe, big seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allen, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last part of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you. With supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a cold day to find out that your heater isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. To keep your family or business warm this winter, and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
HVAC problem is our priority. Priority Heating and Air.
My favorite thing about the Upstate is the pride I sense in each of you that you're from here. It's evident in all you do. Since 1916.
I'm sure it's me, Kevin, because I'm the heaviest. So, you know. Now you're going to cause me to make a bunch of noise.
UpstateLights.com. Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
At Corley Plumbing, Air, and Electric, we provide transparent, upfront pricing you can depend on.
Stop it, Kevin. Does it stop raining yet?
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show, it's BetMGM's Night, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan. BetMGM's Night is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with hosts Quincy Mayo, Trista Gray, and Ryan Horvath. Real-time, relevant sports wagertainment tonight at 7. BetMGM Tonight, exclusively on Sunday. And on the Odyssey app. Always stream wherever you are.
Check this out. I'm actually pretty excited about this, though, and I'm curious as to if you would be. This morning, I spoke to Chris Lewis, the president of the Greenville Triumph. I spoke to Doug Irwin, the CBO of the Triumph. The World Cup gets started this weekend in Qatar. Hate the place, hate the time, hate the reasoning, hate the greed, hate the bribery, love the event. Having, honestly, a bit of a difficult time justifying the World Cup, but I'm going to watch, right? Like, I'm going to watch. It's the World Cup. And so, as we get closer to the kickoff of the event, obviously I continue to get more excited about it, as I think a lot of soccer fans around the upstate, around the state, around the country, around the world have begun to do. And I was thinking to myself, like, all right, how do I, as a sports guy, how do I get people more invested, more excited, specifically in Team USA, the U.S. men's national team, but also in the event as a whole? And then I got to thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, we got a guy right here in the upstate. He is a friend of the show, friend of mine on and off the air, a former United States men's national team player, a veteran of 2 World Cups. The head coach of the Greenville Triumph is John Harkes. Harkes, he played for the USMNT for a couple of World Cup cycles back in the early and mid-90s. Now he's right here in the upstate, brought the Triumph this year to a USL League One semifinal, went to the USL Finals the last 3 years in a row. First year in existence, the Triumph didn't make the finals. I'd say that's a pretty good run from a manager who clearly knows the game and doesn't just have international experience, but has the international experience of playing in a World Cup game. So I talked to Chris and Doug this morning, and we are going to try to put together over the next couple of days a Rob Brown Show special edition podcast, right? A Rob Brown Show special edition podcast with myself, John Harkes, and if we can arrange it, former Greenville Triumph goalkeeper Dallas J. Dallas, of course, spent 3 seasons here in Greenville. Dallas, of course, also represented Guam at the international level as well. So another guy that has top-tier international experience. What we wanted to do was record a pod, 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops, where we talked all about the USMNT, their road to the World Cup, the situation with Greg Berhalter, the roster selection, and then a preview of group stage play, which for the Americans starts on Monday when we take on Gareth Bale and Wales on Monday. Then we got a handful of days off. We take on Black Friday, England, of course, one of the most notorious teams in the world. And then we wrap up the next Tuesday with Iran. I personally think we've got to come out of there with no fewer than 6 points if we want a chance to move on, right? I think you've got to beat Wales and Iran. I think you got to draw against England. But obviously, the World Cup's interesting in that, especially this year, playing it in the winter instead of the summer, the assembly of the team, the roster selection was different. You got guys that did not have the customary break leading up to, didn't have a customary break leading up to the World Cup like we traditionally do. Guys have been playing with their clubs up until effectively last week, right? Actually, early this week, before they get called to Qatar to play in the World Cup. My question would be here, Lonzo, as somebody who has dabbled in soccer, primarily, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're obligated and forced to work with me for 3 hours, 5 days a week. If I did a USMNT World Cup kind of elementary introductory level pod with John Harkes, manager of the Triumph and former international men's player who's played in a couple of World Cups, Is that enough to get you intrigued? Is that enough to get you to click that listen button and give it a shot? Would you be in on that if I did that pod with Harks?
I'll listen for a little bit. Yeah.
Like till it loses your attention?
Well, if it is very interesting, which it could be, maybe it keeps my attention for the entire pod. You never know. I think it's going to depend on the moderator, the guy who's running the whole thing. If that guy can pique my interest and keep my interest, then possibly I can listen to the entire thing.
I like it. I like it. So look for that. I'm literally, literally right now emailing Doug and Chris. We're trying to nail down a time to record it. We would like to get it recorded before the end of the weekend so that we can have it dropped by Monday morning. Game number 1, match number 1 for the Americans against Wales is Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. Then again on Friday at 2 p.m. when we take on England. I'm excited about it. I really am. I think it's an interesting project. I think it's a good opportunity to kind of give some unique perspectives. You know, I could sit here and break down the USMNT all day. I can break down our group all day. I can break down what Wales and England and Iran look like and how we match up with them, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there's a lot to do with that from the perspective of a fan and analyst. But having a guy that's been there, having a guy that's worn the crest, having a guy that's laced up the boots to run around on a World Cup pitch, not once but twice, who has gone through the selection process, and a guy who now has quite a bit, extensive managerial experience under his belt. I think there's something to that as the World Cup gets rolling this weekend. So having a conversation with Chris and Doug right now, we are trying to schedule a time to record the pod with Harks, trying to record the pod with Dallas J, former Greenville goalkeeper who has represented Guam a number of times. And if we can get that nailed down and we can get that recorded, I will let you guys know when that happens and when it's going to drop via the Fan Upstate podcast page. So pay attention to that if you are in. Even if you're not a soccer guy, I would implore you, just listen to that, right? See if it gets you. See if listening to a couple of guys who have been there, who have played on that stage at that level, see if that intrigues you, if that sparks any interest that maybe you wouldn't otherwise have. All right. Texas says, Rob, had a brief moment to tell you how much I enjoyed the show Sunday at the Swamp Rabbits game. Between the radio show, Rebel Football, Swamp Rabbit games, do you ever take a day off? Tell your boss you need a raise. I appreciate your humbleness in person. Keep going strong, my man.
No. He just needs to quit trying to find jobs. Just like this. It's going to be awesome, but it's another job that he's finding for. One man can only have so many jobs, Rob.
I mean, I don't know what that number is, but I'm at like 8.
Stop saying yes and stop making up jobs. Stop doing that.
In fairness, this is one I was like, yeah, what's one more 4, 5, 6 hour project, right? Between 45 to 60 recording, probably 2-3 hours of editing, creating an in-out tag. I mean, it's probably 4 or 5 hours this weekend that I'm putting in, but Lonzo, I do it for the people, you know? I just do it. I am here to make my listeners' lives better.
As a grandpa, let me tell you, Rob, eventually it's going to catch up with you. Eventually. But I guess enjoy it while you can.
I mean, I'm anti-Heath Slater, right? I ain't got kids. Somewhere right now, the girlfriend is listening to this like, that son of a... I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him, right? Because I got a couple of things I got to do with the hockey team during the course of this week, right? Burns Friday night. I've got Upstate Pulse Saturday, followed by Radio D&D. Sunday, I've got an NFL pod that I'm sitting in for with a buddy of mine who asked me to sit in. Now I'm like, what's 5 hours of recording and editing for soccer? By the time I know it'll be Monday to work again. You know what? It's a good thing I love you people. And by the way, Texter, I appreciate that text. That was very kind of you. I know exactly who you are. I remember walking by you and saying hi. I genuinely do. I like when people stop me and say hi. So if you ever see me out and about in public, predominantly at sporting events around the area, come up, say hi, man. I'm a dork, but I'm a real nice guy.
You'll know he's there before you see him.
In fairness, at the hockey game, they do put me on the Jumbotron like 3 times a period. So it is, I would say the hockey team is my loudest job in history. You can't really miss me.
Do you actually use a microphone?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's hilarious because the sound guy had to rig up a second mic, right? Because I used last year's mic, like the settings from the young lady, Lindsay, sweetheart, who did it last year. Very first game, my guy Nikon, who runs the sound, hands me the mic. And he's like, all right, bud, all yours. And I go to the first break, and he's like, all right, coming to Rob in 3, 2.
Don't do that.
So he had to reset he had to add a channel and reset the entire. So now there is PA host mic and PA host mic, all caps, Rob.
So when I train people, since we're a revolving door, got some more people possibly coming in. One of the first things I tell them, if they're working with Rob, is start with the fader really low. There's no way to prepare it until they're actually in the room and get to experience the raw power. It's amazing. And yes, I'm not joking. I mean, there's power coming there. I can't believe that he's not an opera singer.
I mean, I can't sing. That's kind of
I'm not sure opera singers can sing either, since I don't speak whatever language they're singing in. So, I mean, you could just.
Again, can't sing.
You could be the next Pavarotti. You already got the beard.
I don't know. I look good in sequence.
And the hairstyle.
It's good hair. It's good hair. All right. Keegan said team side hustle. I live my life, son. It's not a side hustle. It's all connected to this gig. It's just me doing more. Hudson said, yes, Rob, please. That podcast sounds awesome. It's World Cup time. Yes, it is. I'll let you know when that comes up. Keegan said, nope. John Harkes doesn't need any more visibility. They're going to hire him away from group. Listen, John Harkes is going to be managing at the MLS level one day. I have no doubt about it. I want to keep him here as long as we can, but I got no doubt that guy's going to be managing at the MLS level one day and potentially further. And I'll be pulling for him when he does. Harksey has been incredibly, incredibly good to us as a show and as people since we got this thing lifted off the ground a couple of years back. So I'll let you know when we get that pod recorded and when we get it dropped. We're back after this to wrap up hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Joe said, happy Taco Tuesday. Have a good day from Midland, Texas, by way of Pensacola, Florida, home of the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time, Roy Jones Jr. Appreciate it, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping by, man. Was my mic on, or was your mic on when I was yelling all that? Well, now they know how the stream sounds. That's good.
Perhaps I will be sent home for that mistake.
I'm going to go ahead and push F to doubt that.
I'm sitting here thinking.
Plus, if you go home early, that means I'm working 11 hours.
I'm thinking, why can't I hear the speakers? Oh, no.
Game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your
I'll be beating myself up over that mistake the rest of the day.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com.
I'm also not in front of the mic either, so I'm trying to do some stuff over here.
Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Oh, come on.
Miz in a cardigan and old man readers is amazing.
We offer over 20 fresh ingredients to make burritos, tacos, and quesadillas as unique as you. So come in today for your one-of-a-kind meal with free chips and salsa.
The Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is here. Get a bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes. That's a better breakfast for just $3 in 3 easy steps. 1, wake up. 2, get out of bed. And 3, head to Wendy's for your $3 breakfast deal. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your health insurance. We personalize this app for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm a cute one here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes
Kobe.
your home insurance so you will be paid for what you need. I'm the hot drop.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that can sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment if you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
From the Ingalls Lutkins Studio, the Fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
From the Free Ice, CBS Sports Radio.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you will be a part of the radio broadcast at 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. And don't forget, that is if you miss a moment of the show, every hour and highlight sections are uploaded throughout the week on our website at thefanupstate.com, www.thefanupstate.com. Right on the middle of the page, dead center, you're going to see a button that says podcast. You click on that button, drop it down to the Rob Brown Show, and you can listen to all 3 hours every day in an expedited commercial-free-ish format just by clicking on it, downloading it, and you don't have to miss a moment of the action, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you check that out at thefanupstate.com. Go to the podcast section and make sure you don't miss a minute of broadcasting.
Now that you're promoting, you should also promote, what we put out yesterday.
That is correct. The Views from Mint Street podcast as well is available. That is available wherever major podcasts are found, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Google Play, on, which one am I missing? Apple iTunes, and free on the Odyssey app. Lonzo and I record 3 times a week the Views from Mint Street podcast. It is your home for all things Panthers talk. Episode we dropped yesterday, if I may say so, some of our best work. We got a lot into the pod yesterday. Dante Jackson is on the IR. We talked a little bit about how that is going to impact the team. He has a season-ending Achilles tear, which will go ahead and put him on ice for the remainder of the year. If you missed it yesterday, PJ Walker has a high ankle sprain. He is done for at least a handful of weeks, and Baker Mayfield will get another crack at the starting position this Sunday at Baltimore. Sam Darnold is listed as the backup and will be QB2 this weekend for the Panthers. We talked a little bit about that and the follow-up conversation that took place as DJ Moore said that he and the Panthers players went to David Tepper and said they would prefer to play on turf, prefer to play on grass than on the artificial turf that is currently in the bank right now. So we kind of did that spinoff conversation, which is interesting, by the way, because the NFL, and listen, I know it's to protect themselves from further investment, but the NFL released a study last week where they claimed that there is not a direct connection of elevated injuries in games played on turf versus played on natural grass. But the players have said repeatedly that there's more. Who was it? Was it the what pod were you telling me that a couple of former players or
Kelsey brothers?
Kelsey brothers said it. And listen, we talked about this in the pod, Views from Mint Street. Over the 15 years I've done this, I've been very fortunate, obviously, to travel to a lot of different stadiums and walk the field. I was at a game, and I've thought about this since that happened, but about, I guess, 10, 11 years ago, I was at a, coincidentally enough, Carolina at New Orleans game about 10 years ago, I guess. Carolina at New Orleans, and got the opportunity to walk out onto the field for pregame. And the night before, I got to watch them installing the turf for a game the next day. They had like a concert Saturday, and then they had to clear it and reset it back up for a Saints game the next day. So I got to watch them make that shift, make that turnover, and lay the turf down. It is pretty incredible how thin the synthetic turf is, right? Like it is maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, including both the grass and the padding that holds it in place underneath. That stuff's hard, dude. And it goes down on top, directly on top of concrete. Like it goes down on top of concrete. So there's all of 1/8 of an inch of synthetic grass and rubber that is between a player's body hitting the turf and concrete, right? It hurts. It hurts. There's no doubt about that. So the players are now requesting owners, and DJ Moore and the Panthers have done it very publicly, are asking owners to go back to playing NFL games on natural grass, which obviously you can't do in places like the Superdome. You can't do it in places like Minnesota, but you can do it in places like the Bank in Charlotte. Problem is, if you lay down turf, it makes it more difficult to utilize those stadiums for other profit-making endeavors, right? Can't have a Taylor Swift concert with fans on the floor on a natural grass surface. You'll tear that grass all to hell and back. So the owners don't want to do it because it limits what money they can make in other situations. But the players are asking for it. It's an interesting conversation. Views from Mint Street available where major podcasts are found. Download, subscribe, and like that pod. We're back after this to wrap up the show on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
By wrapping up, he means for an entire other hour, by the way. I just don't know if you knew that.
Correct.
The Eagles won their first 8 games in part because they didn't turn the ball over. All they did last night was turn the ball over.
All they did.
Kevin Harlan on Westwood won. That was the third of 4 turnovers, which fueled a 32-21 home loss to Commanders.
Harley in the first break, and it is Tuesday.
Yup. Thank you very much.
And Antonio Gibson scored on the ground. And now the Commanders are expected to get stud defensive end Chase Young back this weekend from last November's.
We are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum.
122 for a 7-game win streak, and the Hornets snapped their 8-game skid, 112-105 in Orlando. And it appears that Australia's immigration minister has overturned Novak Djokovic's 3-year travel ban, so Djokovic will be able to play the Aussie Open in January. I'm Andrew Burbish.
Aussie. Oh, you just scared the hell out of me. No, I wasn't. I'm a big Swiftie, Roy. Big Swiftie. I was saying Charlotte needs to put down grass for the players, but not at the cost of Tay-Tay, right? Like, you need Tay-Tay. I saw that.
I was listening to Mark. I was like, did he start to Taylor? I listened.
Thanks, buddy. That's Roy. He's our promotions guy for those of you who haven't seen him on the stream before.
And didn't see him then either. So I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
because the camera's turned. So I,
Just go to GetRefunds.com/sports
Click on Qualify Me and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.
Rob, there's a question on stream that you can answer for someone who hasn't heard your explanation. He'll get to you eventually.
So when they announced Commanders was the official name, was it last? No, it was earlier this year, wasn't it? Was it this year? Was it last
Dude,
year?
I don't remember.
Anyway, when they announced
It was recently.
when they announced Commanders as the name, there was a local news channel that was doing interviews with fans at the team shop when they opened the doors to buy Commanders gear for the first time. And there was a group of, I don't know, so what, 7 people, 8 people there in their makeshift Washington football team turned Commanders gear. And they were, the lady interviewing was like, what are you guys doing? They're like, well, we're starting to write down our fight songs and our jingles and our chants and all that. And we got a few. And Lily's like, oh, can you give us one? Can you give us one of your chants that you guys are planning on using at the game? And this hilariously small group of people went, yeah, here's one. We are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. And it probably would have been something that I mean, it still would have been funny if there were 100 people there or like a pep rally going on. But it was like 8 people. It was like 8 people trying to sell us that the farmers insurance chant was going to be a fight jingle of the Washington Commanders. It was freaking hilarious. And I have just been unable to let it go, to be honest with you. It's one of those things that I do on the air because it makes me laugh, even if it makes nobody else laugh. We are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. I bet if you can probably still find it if you go to YouTube and you search hard enough, Maverick. You can probably still find that clip. It's absolutely hilarious. It's just one of like I have enjoyed. I don't enjoy what the Commanders have been going through the last couple of years for Washington fans. I know a bunch of Washington fans, and they're all really good people. I don't enjoy what is happening for them because I know how much it sucks. But I very much enjoy watching Dan Snyder and his team suffer. I do. Not even his team, because I actually like a lot of the players. Like, I'm glad to see Chase Young's going to be back. That dude's awesome. I mean, after last night, how can you not love Heineke? That dude's awesome. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Brown, the great one, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show, the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate, the Wizard of Wave, the Professor of Perfection on the other side. The great one, Lonzo, is holding down the mic as well. In hour number 3 of 11 today. Zoe on the marathon sprint towards the end of the day. What time are you getting out of here? Like 7?
Yeah, and then I got to go to a birthday thing directly after that. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that'll be fun though. That'll be fun. That doesn't count as like a hardship.
Yeah, but as in most public events or parties or things like that, I'm expected to be the life of that because that's what I do when I'm out in public. So I'm gonna be low key compared to what I normally am. So and I apologize ahead of time for that.
Y'all going out somewhere? You going like bowling, like dinner? And you have to tell me where, obviously, but like,
Yes.
is it an activity?
We are going out. Yes.
Okay. Could be worse.
I'm not going to say where. I don't want all these people to show up to watch me eat.
Are you doing an activity or are you going to sit down and eat?
We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. There's not much worse than like having a day and then having an event, but it's at your house. You're like so close to your bed, but can't go to it. The lady from when we have parties, she has a banner that she hangs unironically. You know those party banners, right? That have the letters and you can write messages like happy birthday beef or whatever across it. She's got one of those and it says, please leave by 9. I thought that was a joke until our Christmas party last year, Lonzo, when she literally, whenever somebody would get a drink, instead of using our coasters, she would present them their beverage on a napkin that said, please leave by 9. She has an entire drawer of party supplies that all say, please leave by 9 printed on it.
I don't have a problem with someone being very organized and taking charge, which is what she does and might be known for, maybe.
She's like, listen, this party's going to be done at 9. I'm like, for you. She's like, all right, enjoy drinking on the back porch. And that's exactly what we did. We sat out on the back porch finishing football games. It was great. So the NFL just played its game in Munich, Deutschland. This past weekend, we have seen, 4 games in London. We got a game upcoming in Mexico City, Mexico. And apparently the NFL is not done because the NFL game in Munich, Germany this weekend went so exceptionally well. A 21-16 win of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Seattle Seahawks in the first game in Germany, part of a 4-year deal that the league is planning on extending further. London, of course, has been hosting regular season games since back in 2007. So we got more games coming to London. We got more games coming to Deutschland. We got more games coming to Mexico City. There may be more on the radar. Brett Gosper is the NFL head of the UK and Europe, told the AP in an interview that, quote, we need to do our homework to make sure that there is the possibility of a place to land any games in those markets, gauge interest of the host stadia, gauge interest of the host city, even the government as to their enthusiasm to help us bring a game, end quote. He was talking about the possibility of NFL games next happening in Spain and France. So we would have regular season games in London, in Germany, between Munich and Frankfurt, potentially Berlin down the line. Now in France, now in Spain alongside Mexico City. I'm calling this shot, Lonzo. And I don't know if I'll still be here to pay up on it, good or bad or ugly or indifferent. The NFL will have at least one international team in the next 10 seasons. And could very well end up eventually with an entire division of international teams.
If that happens, I retire.
Like from radio?
Yes, I will retire from radio.
Why?
If that happens in the next 10 years.
Next 10 years. Next decade. By 2032, 33. Are you saying an international team or division?
Either.
Yes,
I will retire from radio if it happens in the next 10 years.
I suspect there's a...
You forget how old I am.
Yeah, but I also know you. You strike me as the dude that's going to retire and a week later be like, I'm bored. Can I come volunteer? Can I just come hang out at the stadium?
Yeah, I'm not retiring, and I'll be retired against my will.
Right. You won't retire so much as Miss Lisa will be like, you are here now. You live here now.
No, she won't.
Lonzo, go the hell to work. I retired 2 weeks ago. Go to work. The NFL will have an international team in the next decade.
Just I get there's a novelty to it right now. So you show up in Germany, of course there's going to be a lot of people there because they haven't had a chance to see it. Plus, there's a lot of Americans there too who were probably at that game.
Sure, a lot of expats.
Yeah, so I mean, so you show up in France, you show up in those places, and you're going to get a bunch of fans because they haven't seen it. But it's different when the NFL is suddenly there. And those tickets that were a novelty that you're willing to pay extra money for because you've never had a chance to see them, they want you to pay for them every week. Brandon brings up G League, but the Euro, what was it? NFL Europe.
NFL Europe.
NFL Europe.
Dexter said these
they've tried
already had NFL teams.
Yeah, so they've tried it before, and it wasn't that successful.
Yeah, but that was. Can we be real? Like, I enjoyed NFL Europe. I was a big Galaxies fan. Right? But that was minor league football, right? That was minor league. It's like any other sport. Here's the reality, right? I love local sports. I love local sports. As you can tell, I work like most of them. And the ones I'm not working, I'm at as a fan, right? I love local sports. But here's the thing. People turn out to watch the best of the best do their thing, right? And I'm talking about in just about any field. People turn out to watch. And once you have seen the best of the best. Can you
explain why they show up in England to watch Jacksonville play then?
That's good burn. I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good burn. Yes, of course, there is some novelty to some degree of NFL teams playing in Europe right now because London had 3 games total this year. 3 games. So being able to see one in person was there. But I wish I wouldn't have deleted that clip. I wish I'd have had Germany singing Country Roads again. I forgot and I deleted it. Dadgummit. I messed up. Should have left it. Is it a novelty? Sure, it's a novelty right now. But you put a good team anywhere, especially with the growth. I think it just shows you that much as football, much as soccer continues to grow like it or not across this country, American football continues to grow around the world, right? And one of the reasons that is the fact that more and more by the year, you're starting to see an international flavor in the NFL, right? A couple of years ago, it started that we had an influx of rugby kickers showing up, Australian football kickers showing up as punters and kickers in the league. Now they're everywhere, right? They're in college now. Like half the damn colleges at the Power 5 level have an Aussie rugby player as their punter at this point. The popularity grows, especially as those countries continue to be involved and invested in them. Munich sold out their game. London sells out their games. If you stick a team of actual NFL caliber players in Europe, I'm not talking about let's send our minor leaguers, our practice squad guys have a summer league that they go to Europe and play in. I'm talking about you putting NFL caliber players in Europe and give them good football. They're going to invest just like they do everything else, right? It is an almost uniquely American attitude that, like, I like this sport, therefore I can't like that sport. Europe goes crazy for soccer. Sure, it's their number one. But basketball, I mean, tell me basketball hasn't hit a massive influx of fans and international players over the past couple of years, right? Basketball is huge in Greece right now, courtesy of Giannis and the Antetokounmpo brothers. It's huge in South America right now. The rise of guys like Manu Ginobili from Argentina have exploded the NBA's popularity. It is out of this world popular in China after Yao Ming caught on. And now you can go anywhere in the world and there's posters of LeBron up, right? But you got to send them the best players. You got to send them the product at its tippy top. You can't send them this guy is he's been a third string quarterback in the NFL for 17 years, never cracked an active roster. I'm not going to see that, right? I mean, I would because I'm a weirdo, but most casual fans aren't going to do that. I am telling you right now, because Europe is putting on such a good show with these games, And they are. They're great shows. Because Europe is putting on such great shows at these games, there will be an NFL team permanently based probably in London up front. Probably going to be in the UK initially. And, I've heard people already hit me with, Rob, what about the distance, right? So far away. It is going to suck for left coast teams, right? When the Chargers have to go to London. Or when the London Jaguars, I'm of course speculating. When Travis and Trevor bring the London Jags all the way to LA to play a game, it's going to suck for them. But I think that kind of gets to a point. That kind of gets to the point where you start handling the scheduling the way that the NBA handles the scheduling, right? When a team has from the East Coast a swing over to the left coast, they have them play 4, 5, 6 road games back to back while they're there, right? We're going to send you over. You're going to play Golden State. You're going to play, all the teams in up and down the Pacific coast, or vice versa. When Golden State comes to the Atlantic seaboard, they're going to play Charlotte, New York, Brooklyn, Orlando, Memphis, New York again, and then fly back. I think you'll end up in a situation where the NFL will go, all right, this London team is coming to America. We're going to have them play 3 road games, and we're going to have them play all the West Coast teams on their schedule back to back on the road. Then they'll go back to London, and they'll play 3 or 4 home games consecutively. And they'll be against East Coast teams. And then when the Chargers got to go play London, we'll fly them to London, then we'll fly them back to the States, and we'll have them play their next 2 East Coast scheduled games in the next 2, so they kind of stay on that side of the country for a minute before they go back home. There are ways around all of the challenges that have been discussed in terms of bringing in international experience. It's going to happen for the same reason that everything else in the National Football League happens, because there's money in it. Right? And if you start with one team, Texas says, Rob, I don't think they'll start with just one franchise in London. I think once they expand to Europe, the plan is to have a full 4-franchise division. I don't know if they'll start with it. You might be right, Texter. You might be right. I don't know if they will start with the full wholesale division, right? We're sending 4 teams over there. But I think they could start with one. And if that one team does exceptionally well, then you add 3 more and make a division, or you restructure the league and maybe we shift to 3-team divisions, right? Maybe the conferences go away and we have, I don't know, depending on whether they do expansion or move current franchises, right? The Jags are going. I'm all but convinced of that. Maybe they send over, I don't know, whoever else. Maybe they do 3 expansion teams plus the Jags. The Jags to send an established franchise and then 3 expansion teams. Now you got a European-based division. That way they know they all get to stay in Europe for 6 of their 17 games. You're going to bring over 4 more for, the 10 or the 9 or whatever. And then the rest you do in a single swing or a double swing back to the States. All the challenges that are being brought up are there. But look, the money's there. Germany proved it. Texas said, as a guy who still has relatives in Europe and having been to Europe multiple times, Germany is the most like America. They love American football. It's genuine. I think you could see that, right? I think you could see that. I think that the fans were going crazy. And by the way, listen, I can't wait to see soccer-cultured fans at NFL games, right? Soccer-cultured fans at NFL games, it was already wild in Germany. It's going to be even better when they have an established team and they've got supporters groups with the banners and the flags and the chants and the dress. It's going to be great. Can't wait. I think it's going to be amazing. But the money is there, my dudes. It's happening. Germany and London just did it for us. They showed there is money to be made, and there's going to be an owner who's willing to take the big risk, send their team over there, or start a new team up over there and start raking in the euros. It'll happen. Texas said at the very least they'll have 2. Germany will get at least 1 franchise. They absolutely love American football there. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think Germany's probably, especially with this past weekend, though, again, it was a one-game sample size. Part of the reason they signed a 4-year deal, right? Part of the reason they signed a 4-year deal was to run this experiment a few times, right? It's one thing to send a team over there and they have one really great game in Germany. Let me see 3 games a year there and that same crowd show up every time. If it does, now you're out of reasons not to do it. Not to do it. Texter said, the London Silly Nannies with Peter Griffin could be for real. I mean, probably not going to be the name they go with, but it could be hilarious. I'm not disagreeing. And then it's interesting because you open up a whole new pipeline of players, right? Whole new pipeline of players. American football is taking off in Japan. Japan's got a college football system set up yet. Go watch it in the summer. It comes on at like 3 a.m. It's amazing. There's some good players, right? What's one thing that the NFL would be interested in? Second to money there, a pipeline of new players. It very similar to what I've made the argument here in America. America could very easily be one of the top 3 or 4 soccer countries in the world if we steered our best soccer players to soccer, right? I watched a kid in my high school who was an absolute wizard of a soccer player drop out of soccer his sophomore year to be the 3rd-string cornerback on our high school football team because that's what men do. Men do football. It's like, dude never played, right? But would have been a whiz of a soccer player. Disappointing. Well, Europe's going to have some naturally talented American football players who aren't playing football. They're playing rugby, or they're playing basketball, or they're playing soccer, right? Go find them. Make the game better. More teams, but more players too. An entire continent worth of new players. Be great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. When we come back, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Let's take some time to do Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It is time for Faces and Heels, where we'll take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to figure out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's the face, who's the heel. That's next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, stay right there. Got to read. Be right back. All right, we're back. It's a great point, Trey. That's interesting because obviously there would be a lot of different international laws and rules that would have to be worked out. But again, part of that, I think, and that is part of why Bosser, the NFL international guy, said that the next step would be discussing all of that with the governments of these countries, right? To find out if they're even interested in having a team, if some of the different laws and regulations that maybe make the NFL able to operate, right? For instance, the NFL has been given exemptions to antitrust and anti-monopoly laws in the United States to make it easier for them to operate because of how big of a business they are. Would there be other countries that would be willing to make the same exceptions for franchises there to play under the same rules? Travel laws, same situation. Exactly. That's a great point. Great point.
Switch to us. Fisher Investment. Clearly, different money management. Mondays catch a bad rap. But come on, they aren't that bad. Especially thanks to Mo Monday, where you can enjoy an awesome burrito, chips, salsa, and drink for an amazing deal. See you and your friends and everyone else for Mo Monday.
Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
At Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric, we offer flexible scheduling to meet your needs. Call Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric today, or skip the line and book online. CorleyPro.com. That's CorleyPro.com.
Mark Ryan tells it like it is.
Coming up on a Super Tuesday episode of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel, Ellen Ford will join us to give us the numbers behind Clemson's chances to get back into college football playoffs. We'll have a well-rounded conversation with Jake Crane. Plus, what grades would you give Dabo and Beamer thus far this season?
What's a well-rounded conversation? I don't know what that is.
You always were Paul Gorman. I'm not the bad guy, kid.
Hey, fine. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's not because people don't want you, man. You know, it's not because people don't want to give you a chance. It's because you suck. You know? You suck. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy.
All right, time for Zoe's favorite segment of the week. It is time for Faces and Heels, where we take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to figure out who is the good guy, who is the bad guy, who is the face, who is the heel. Here's a couple of them. We start with this one, Zoe. Guy is married to a lady. They just had a baby. Scratch that. Sorry, they have a 5-year-old. They are pregnant with their second child. Said that right before they decided to have a second child, they took their 5-year-old to Disney, right? They went to Disney. They found out she was pregnant while they were at Disney World. Said that while she was there, she fell in love with Minute Maid pink lemonade, which I understand entirely. It's delightful, right? Fell in love with Minute Maid pink lemonade, got back home. And the wife, who was in the early stages of pregnancy, said that she is having cravings for Minute Maid pink lemonade. Well, the husband's sister came to visit and help prepare for a baby shower, right? And while there, the sister was going through the fridge and pulled out the last pink lemonade and drank it, right? Husband comes in and is like, oh, that was for my wife. Sister's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Husband's like, well, you already drank half of it. Might as well finish it. Wife comes in looking for her pink lemonade and was relatively ticked off that the sister drank it, right? Didn't know it was for her, and went off on the husband. Was like, you should have told her, should have known that this was my pink lemonade, that this was for me, and you have to go to the store right now and get it. Well, there were people on the way to the house, right? The baby shower was coming up in just minutes. People on the way to the house. He's like, I don't have time to go get you pink lemonade, right? You can get through the baby shower, and then I'll go get all the pink lemonade you can handle, and then some. The wife was like, no, go get it now. I am not coming out to the baby shower until you replace the pink lemonade that your sister drank. I'm pregnant. I want my pink lemonade. It's the one craving I'm having. Go get my pink lemonade. Let me know when you're back, and I'll come out to the baby shower when I have my pink lemonade. And he said she went up into the room, locked herself into the room, which meant that, by the way, that neither he nor she was at their own baby shower because she was locked in a room and wouldn't come out. And he had to leave to go to the store that he said was about 8 minutes away. So for the first 20-ish minutes of the baby shower, neither the husband nor wife, the mom nor the dad, was at the shower. He says that he is furious with her because he made everybody feel, or she made everybody feel awkward. She said they should have known and you should have told the sister. It is not too much to ask you to replace the one thing that I was looking forward to drinking while I'm pregnant. Who's the bad guy?
He is. He is the heel. And here's the reason why. Having been around pregnant people before myself, including my wonderful wife, if you know what they have cravings for, you go buy a lot of it and you have it there at the house. So you don't have to jump in the car in a situation like this and have to leave. So it's on him for not having a full supply ready to go, because in the story, you pointed out how she developed a craving while at Disney. They've been back from Disney. He knows that. He should have went and got a bunch of it and had it in the fridge, sitting beside the fridge, in the cabinet, wherever. So he is the heel in this situation.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I understand the situation. She's craving pink lemonade. I get it, right?
There is no excuse for not being prepared. I mean, you see the signs, you get, okay. Worst case scenario, she doesn't have those cravings anymore. You get pink lemonade for yourself.
Couple of things. Number one, I am absolutely team take care of pregnant woman. I get it. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yes. I am absolutely team take care of pregnant woman.
Because you rarely side with the pregnant woman in these situations. I'm just pointing that out.
This woman is a few weeks pregnant, right? She's not like ready to burst. She's a few weeks pregnant. She's out and about too, right? She knows she wants the pink lemonade. If she knows she's down to one and she did not let him know that they were down to one, that's kind of on her too, right? And I'm not saying she should have had to go out and get it, but she could have let him know, hey, we're down to the last one. We got this party coming up. This is a thing I like to drink. It's the only thing I can drink at this party because, I'm pregnant. I'm out of pink lemonade. Grab me some, right? But she didn't. She waited until she was down to her last jug of pink lemonade. And, by the way, the sister is there helping you throw a baby shower, an event that literally benefits only you. There's no benefit to anyone at a baby shower other than some social interaction. She is there to help you set up a party that benefits literally only you, right? If she's there helping you set up a party, it's not that far-fetched that she can go in the fridge and grab something to drink, right? And, hey, there's a jar of pink lemonade. I like pink lemonade. I'll have that too, right? So for her to get mad that sister drank the last pink lemonade, like, does the husband need when somebody comes over to be like, okay, here's all the things that are off limits in my house? No, that's not how hospitality works, all right? If you know you're down to your last lemonade, which, by the way, you're the only one drinking them. You're the only one who knows when you're down to your last pink lemonade. Tell the husband, hey, I need more lemonade. But you didn't do that. And now it's his fault? No, it ain't on him.
You're right, because they obviously have a cavernous, massive refrigerator that when he looked inside could not tell that there's only one left.
I don't know any of that. All I know is you better than anybody else, right? There is stuff in my house that only I eat, right? I go buy the big, there's like a big box of they sell a big box of like half-size Slim Jims beef jerky. Big fan. I buy them the box at a time, right? I mean, the lady friend doesn't eat them. So they go up in the snack cabinet, right? If I was to call her and ask her right now, hey, do we have any Slim Jims left? Her answer would be, I don't freaking know, dude. You're the only one who eats them. They're in the same snack cabinet we both use.
Until the dog figures out how to get up there.
No, we put it up it's over the fridge.
Yeah.
It's over the fridge for a reason. But if I call her and go, hey, are we at a Slim Jim? She's going to go, I don't know. Those are yours, dude. You don't eat those. Or I don't eat those. You eat those. You know, right? Even though they're right there where she looks every day, that's not on her. It's not on her to know how many Slim Jims I have left and replace them if I'm out. That's on me. That's on me. Yeah, if I call her and go, hey, I'm out of Slim Jims, can you bring me some home? She'll go, absolutely, no problem. Do you want anything else? We both do that for each other because that's how a healthy relationship works. Baby or no baby. That's how an adult relationship works.
Wow. I don't know about the text line, but according to the stream, you're completely wrong and I'm completely right.
That's fine. Bring it. Bring it. Texas said the wife is the heel because she could have told the sister there is no rule against that. While being preggo does give you certain advantages and more hands to help you, being a raging lunatic is not one of those. That's from UNC Chris. Send all hate mail courtesy of Chris. No, I'm 100% fine. Of course, you are going to get additional help and added benefits from being pregnant. You're creating life. That's incredible. It's incredible. But you're the only one who knows that it's the last pink lemonade, dude. You can't, men aren't mind readers. We are dumb enough. We can't have your thoughts in our brains too. We can barely contain our own. Just let us know you're out of lemonade. Most of us will be more than happy to go to the store to get you some.
And if he was even more thinking ahead, what he should have said is, this is a pink lemonade party. Bring your pink lemonade.
Yes. Stock the pink lemonade bar. Yes, that's fine. But she didn't tell him. He didn't know.
No. He should have done that. He should have had the foresight. She's carrying his baby. He needs to be thinking more clearly. Hopefully he learned his lesson.
All right. Here's one. Guy lives in an apartment complex. Works a night job. Says I get home usually between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning. He said a couple of times a week, not every single night, but a couple of times a week. He said, I work a job that is kind of dirty, right? I'm stinking when I get home. I don't want to go to a restaurant and eat, but I'm hungry when I get off. He said once or twice a week, I'll order DoorDash to my apartment at 4 in the morning. You know, I'll call up the old Wahoo, the old Waffle House. It's not a Waffle House. It's a Waffle Home. I'll call the Wahoo. I'll get the DoorDash. I'll have a driver bring the DoorDash to my complex. He said, well, at night, there's only a couple of parking spots available. And unfortunately, where the DoorDash driver has to park to drop off my order, the lights shine into an apartment complex building that is perpendicular to mine. Said that he ordered DoorDash. The DoorDash showed up. He got the DoorDash. He went and sat on the table. And then he heard somebody pounding on his door. Said I didn't answer the door because there's no reason for somebody to be pounding angrily on my door at like 5 a.m. So I didn't answer the door. I just kept eating and then eventually just took a shower and went to bed, right? Said he came back out the next day, ready to go to work, and found a note on the door that said, your DoorDash driver's lights keep waking up my kids. Stop ordering DoorDash in the morning. Bleep you. End quote. DoorDash driver waking up the kids by shining a light into the apartment complex. Guy goes, hey, I'm hungry. That's the best way for me to get food. It is what it is. He says he is not going to stop ordering DoorDash. Is he a heel?
First of all, I just check this out because I was curious about this. Waffle House. Walmart does too, but Waffle House has an app. You know, an app's what you can do. You can order ahead of time and you can just drop by and pick it up yourself. So it's pretty lazy of him to, and who has Waffle House delivered to their house? I mean, that should not be possible. Okay. You are missing out on the Waffle House experience because it's not just about the food at Waffle House. It's about the people,
the environment,
it's
the ambiance of the Wahoo.
Absolutely. And the smell and everything.
Yeah.
And my stinky dude, you're not going to be out of place there. It's just, you're lazy. That's all it is. And the fact that at the end of it, he said he's not going to stop, even though that he's disturbing the neighbor. So you're going to create conflict within where you live. And I've lived in apartment complexes before. You don't need vendettas in there. You don't need people wanting to come at you. Just go to the Waffle House and eat. They're not going to kick you out. If you smell, you're welcome. It's Waffle House.
Man, 2 for 2 on splitting the difference here. He is absolutely not a heel. Not even a little bit of heel. All right, this is a couple of things. Number one, I'm a big Wahoo guy. I have had Waffle House delivered. I am not ashamed. I will own that till my dying day. I love the Wahoo. All right. I've had the Wahoo delivered. I'm a big fan of going to the Wahoo. If you see Rob Brown out and about post midnight, there's a better than 80% chance that night's ending at the Waffle House for me. By myself, with friends, with the lady friend. If I am out when the clock rolls past midnight, there's a better than 90% chance I'm hitting the Wahoo on the way home. Love a ham and cheese omelet, side order of hash browns, white gravy and ham and mushrooms on top, order a sausage on the side. Give me that raisin toast with apple butter. Every time. Love it. Comfort food for me, right? Here's the deal, dude. If lights shining into your apartment complex are waking up your kids, move them to a different room or hang blackout curtains. They're like $12 on Amazon. Hang the curtains so the light doesn't come in. But it's 5 a.m. Dude, well, I'm not up at 5 a.m., but like a lot of people are up at 5 a.m. getting ready for work, right? If a driver light shining into your window at 5 a.m. is waking up your kids, hang a curtain, right? Hang a curtain. That's on you. You live in an apartment. I've lived in apartment complexes like most of my adult life. All right. If you live in an apartment complex, with that territory comes from the reality that you are living in a condensed group of people who are all going to have different schedules and lifestyles. It comes with the territory. This guy is not out changing his tires at 5 a.m. There's car lights. That's on you, bro. Light coming into unless there's like somebody shining a spotlight into your house, light is part of living around people, just as a whole. We need light in the dark.
Again, the biker jacket has gone to Rob's head, and it's all about him. It's all about being angry. What about being inclusive? What about just trying to get along with your fellow man and your neighbor? I mean, why not try to do that? When you find out there's a conflict, oh, my bad. Let me try to figure out a way to remedy that. You've got kids.
Lonzo, you're like me, right? We get off of work, and what do we want to do? I want to go home. I want to go home, right? I want to go home. I want to be done with this day. I want to go home. I want to get rid of the work, and then I'll go play.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You have 35 jobs, so you can't go home.
I never go home. Even when I go home, I'm working at home, all right? Listen, when I get done with work, I want to go home. It's been a long time since I did a job that involved physical labor, but when I did, I definitely wanted to finish my day and just go home. I wanted to go home, shower, sit on my couch in my boxers, and eat fat guy food and be left the hell alone. I don't want to have to go to a Wahoo. I'm not particularly if your kid's life is ruined because of a light, that's on you. That's on you as a parent. Hang a curtain. Hang a curtain. Mission solved.
Yeah, you lost me when you have to DoorDash Waffle House, please.
I'm not against it.
What a bad person.
Here's the thing.
I can't believe that person exists in humanity.
If I go home, if I'm out on the town and I have a swig of the whiskey, one too many, and I Uber home, as happens, right? If me and the lady friend Uber home, I'm not going to take multiple Ubers to go after having a couple of drinks too many to sit in a Wahoo and wait for my food. I'm going to take one bill to Uber home, and then I'm going to Uber drive or dash or whatever, somebody else to bring me the exact same thing to my house where I can eat it on my couch and not have to worry about being in public anymore. And if it impacts you, hang a curtain. That's on you.
So wait. You're worried about how you look at the Waffle House?
At the Waffle House, yeah.
Okay.
I got standards, Lonzo.
Okay.
I got standards. All right. Well, I think we hang out there. We just went 2 for 2 with 2 differing opinions. That's a good part. All right. We want to know, in those 2 scenarios, you can send your answer to 71307. Start your text with FAN. 71307. Start your text with FAN. In situation number 1, who is the heel? Wife who did not attend her own baby shower until husband left the party to bring her pink lemonade that he didn't know she was out of, or husband who allowed, air quotes, her last pink lemonade to be drunk and refused to go buy her more. And in situation number 2, who is the heel? Is it dude for getting off of his job and door dashing Wahoo to the house? Or is it lady who refuses to hang curtains? That one's easy. Shoot us your responses to 71307. Texter says hashtag pajama people. You're damn right. I am team pajama life. If I ain't here, I'm in joggers at the house. Joggers in a basketball jersey with delivered Waffle House. Now I want Waffle House. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. How much is that food after DoorDash?
Sure sign that either you make a lot of money or that you are extremely lazy, that you're going to pay to have Waffle House delivered to your house.
Dude, sometimes I don't want to get off the couch. Why would I turn down?
I know it cost me $35 extra, but bring me my smothered and covered.
It cost me like $9 extra to have them bring me the
Wow.
$9, and I get to stay on my couch and not be around people? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no one's buying that. You're a people person.
I am. Not at 2:30 in the morning after I've tied one on.
Yeah, you're probably you're a hugger. I guarantee
I'm
you.
a drunk hugger. You're
Yeah,
damn right I am.
so you're even more of a people person then.
I'm absolutely a hugger. Correct, James. Wahoo is in play for lunch. That is an absolute fact. There is one around the corner from me. And I may be visiting on the way home today.
There's like 25 within 10 minutes of this station. So.
America, baby. Life is good. Life is good.
And all I know is if you're a DoorDash driver and you're delivering from Waffle House, you're going, I'm not getting a tip today.
Kevin says, living in an apartment complex, you relinquish your normalcy rights, rent a trailer or house. Yeah, no, that's part of the territory of living in an apartment. You pay cheaper to live in an apartment, but you also deal with other people being around you. That's a fact.
Do you pay cheaper? I'm not so sure about that.
Yes, that's why I moved into an apartment when I got here instead of renting a house. You risk the driver, you run the risk of the driver stealing or sampling your food. I'll tell you this, Kevin, that I'm aware of. I've never had that issue before. I will also tell you that one of the things that most of the stores do now is they seal your order, right? They seal your order closed with a tamper-proof seal so that you can tell if it's open. That being said, I'm going to give you another hint. If you DoorDash food or Uber Eats or whatever it is, if you order food for delivery, toss the driver an extra $5 when you do, and that driver will fight to get you as a customer every time you order food from that point forward. Courtney and I have like 4 drivers that every time we put in a DoorDash or an Uber Eats order, one of those 4 shows up because every time they do, we toss an extra 5 or 10 at them, and we've never had our food messed with. Because while those fries in that bag might look great, a 10 spot will buy you more fries.
You forgot Jacksonville, Steven.
He is the heel, even if he makes 100% sense. See, I'm with Hudson on this one. Like, I get you're pregnant, but you're still an adult. Act like it. Like, you're an adult. Act like one. If you're down to your last lemonade, let me know. I'll go get it for you. But I can't just know you are out of lemonade. I can't just know that, right?
You don't have a smart refrigerator?
No, I'm poor, Lonzo.
It tells you when you're out of stuff?
I'm poor. But you know what Courtney and I do have? We have an app where we can update lists on our phone, and it'll update the list on her phone too. So we have a running grocery app. So like if I finish my Slim Jims, then I go onto our little grocery app and I'm like, Slim Jims. And if she goes to the store before me and she opens that list, she'll just grab me a box of Slim Jims. Because again, we're adults.
Yeah, I'm surprised you go to the store.
Why?
When
That's
you
where
could
the
just,
food is.
when you can just have Uber Eats bring you your
better damn
Waffle
well
House.
believe, you better damn well believe that I put in my order for pickup from Publix and I have them bring it out to my car. Absolutely.
Thank you, Steven.
Yes, Rob does hate Jacksonville. That is correct. I will not fight that one. I will fight all the rest of them, but I won't fight that one. Jacksonville sucks and should not exist.
You also forgot old people. You should have.
I love old people.
No.
I hate entitled people. And there's a difference.
Entitlement has no age.
Correct. And it is amazing how many old people are entitled. I'm old. Give me respect. No, respect is earned, not given.
Well, my respect, get out of my way. That's my respect.
I respect you leaving me the hell alone.
So you guys have a guy or a girl who brings you your food. Okay. That's good. It's good to have a regular, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless they're creepy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got a regular.
I have no idea what time it is. I feel like my workday has just begun.
Texture says Lonzo is the heel in every segment. No, that's Lorenzo.
Okay, this is news to who? To you? Did you just now discover that?
You know, the mark of a true heel, though, is taking pride in being a good heel.
I think mark is a key word when you're talking about that texter.
Texter said, what neighbor would go pound on the door of another neighbor at between 1 and 8 a.m. in the morning? She is inconsiderate for waking his neighbors by banging on his door. That's a fact. That was a heel move. Absolutely. You could have just, in fact, he's probably more likely to answer the door and listen to you, right? Like if I'm that guy and I hear, hey, listen, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but I noticed you ordered DoorDash a couple times, so that's totally fine. Is there any chance maybe in your instructions you could ask the driver to point his lights somewhere else or to maybe turn his running lights off when he comes in because his lights go in my apartment and they wake up my kids? And I would be like, you know what? Absolutely. No problem. Because in the DoorDash order, right, you can write special instructions like bring them, leave them at the door, knock 3 times, extra ketchup, whatever. I would have no problem writing on that order, please turn off lights when you park, right? Turn your lights off when you bring the door over or point a different direction, park in reverse, whatever. I don't have a problem. But the minute you bang on my door like a savage, not only no, but I'm like, hey, turn your lights on bright when you pull in. Put your brights on when you pull in. If this lady's going to come bang on my door like a lunatic, I'm out. I'm out.
Wow, what a great neighbor you are.
I'm a great neighbor.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he tells us why it's trending. The first thing is not trending, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to do it anyway. I would like to say happy birthday to my son, Cameron.
Yeah, show contributor Cameron. Happy birthday, big dog. I don't know how old he is now.
And I'm not going to say because some people from his job listen to this fine radio station. And maybe those people who didn't know it was his birthday can go over and wish him happy birthday.
Yeah, for sure. Happy birthday, Cam. By the way, for those of you who do not know this, on Saturday evening, I will be, well, I'm assuming I'm invited to sit in on the show. But
yeah, that's a given.
Okay. So on Saturday evening on the Upstate Pulse, your favorite show for pop culture nerds around the Upstate, I will be sitting in with the great one and show contributor Cameron, amongst others. And then after that, we are going to play session 2 of our Radio D&D campaign if you want to tune into the live stream of that.
Yeah, 1 year later.
Okay, it's been like 3 months.
It feels like a year, though.
I'm being dramatic.
Feels like a year. That's what I do.
Nobody likes
All
a
right.
drama queen.
All right, you're right. But people love me still. All right, the first thing that's trending is Ticketmaster.
So Tay-Tay, Taylor Swift, has broken Ticketmaster. She has put up the pre-sale to her next stadium tour, and the pre-sale tickets went on, except for there were so many people getting in line to order the pre-sale tickets that she crashed Ticketmaster. And the only way to rectify that, apparently, was they are basically going random draw for tickets now. So if you were in line for Ticketmaster when Tay-Tay, after the release of her album Midnights, which is pretty good, by the way, if you were in line on Ticketmaster and you got booted, you are likely going to receive an email that you are in now a random drawing for tickets. When did we, Zoe, as a society, decide that outlets like Ticketmaster were how we were going to distribute concert tickets. Like, I genuinely, that model sucks so hard.
So you want to go back in the day where you had to go stand in line
Go to the
at
damn
a
box.
ticket
Yes,
booth? Okay.
because I would rather go to the box office. I ordered tickets to what concert? Oh, we ordered tickets to the Eagles back in April, I think, right? It was me, the lady friend, her mom and stepdad, and my mom and my little brother went to see the Eagles. We ordered, what's that, 7 tickets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tickets? Yeah, 6 tickets to see the Eagles. Lonzo, the fees that we paid to Ticketmaster were damn near the same cost as the tickets themselves. We paid almost the same amount in fees as we did for the tickets, because when everything goes through that company, they're just like, stocking fee, paper fee. You know what you have to get paid? You have to pay them a fee to email you the tickets instead of printing them out. Email's free. It's free.
Well, I don't have to pay for tickets. Do you know who I am?
I mean, you did to that one. To that one, there was nothing.
I'm shocked you just didn't know a guy. I mean, you know, as many jobs you have, some
I
of
didn't
them.
know the guy. I am the guy.
There we go.
I am the guy that everybody else knows. Except for us.
That was loud. That's how heavy that jacket is. Look out.
All right, Jackie. That's it for us. Jim Rome's got you up next in the jungle. Mark and Diesel take you offsides at 3. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again and better. Those of you watching on the stream, we love you. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Appreciate you guys stream. We will see you back.